Welcome, everyone. Good to see you all. I'll just wait for you to get in, and we take it from there.
Morning, everyone. We're back again. It's now the breakfast show. Because really, it's 6:30, but because the clocks went back, it's 5:30.
It's not art.
What is it
It is
then?
not. It is 5:23. It's
Yeah,
5:23. We've had an extra hour.
right, okay. I wonder how many people are thinking it's going to be up. How many people are going to be getting up today, forgetting about the clocks and think it's an hour ahead?
Plenty.
Yeah, it's only that we've been going on about it so much that we know. I mean, it's happened to me so many times. I mean, that's why a lot of our devices now they automatically do it, don't they?
They do, yeah. That's right, Serial Phil. I'm with you, mate. Art kind of, you kind of grasp onto. I'm one that says, yeah, the time is 5:23, and we've had an extra hour. And
Yeah,
for me, yeah, they always pull it on the Saturday night, don't they?
yeah,
Yeah, because everyone goes out getting pissed, and a lot of people might not notice it. An extra hour in bed, God, you feel a bit better than you would have normally. But also, when they take it away, that's the one that gets me. When they take us away, yeah, and you get an hour less. Do you know what I mean? And you've been at work, fucking or whatever,
yeah.
you
And
know,
do you
you
remember?
need
Yeah,
to rest.
and do you remember Kenzie Cush when she said because she was in the casino industry, they would lose money when they lost an hour because
Yeah, of course.
that's their prime time, Saturday night, Sunday morning.
Yeah, perfect sense. Absolutely. Because you think, well, they're not going to get tips for an hour. It's an hour less of getting tips. It's going to still close at the same time. Blah blah blah. Most of them weren't 24 hours nowadays, are they? They do close. I noticed. I mean, people say, "Oh, there's 24-hour casinos," but I don't think it's that. Um, as far as I gathered, I ain't always wanted to, you know, stay the whole 24 hours anyway. But yeah, I'd usually go for a meal, gamble a bit, and we'd go on somewhere else. But yeah, they lose an hour. Tips, hourly rate, whatever they got paid, it makes a difference. And I mean, the night goes faster. But yeah, I suppose it must have affected her bottom line.
I don't know about you though. I don't know about you though, Cool Tools, but Saturdays, Sundays to me were exactly the same as Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday now. Is it just because we seem to spend a lot of time on YouTube and things like that and doing late lives? But one day melts into another day, doesn't it, really?
Pretty much. That's how it's gone for me. I mean, my life totally changed. I ain't going to go too much into it, but yeah, it's totally changed, and that kind of is what a lot of people are working on there. That medium, especially the lockdowns and things like that. It was the days, mornings, and late nights are all merging, kind of in a sense, so that some days you'd end up by the end of the week you've lost the day,
Yeah.
and it's like, what the hell? And I thought it was quite a good gauge of time, and what day it is and things like that. But occasionally, I thought it was a Wednesday when it's actually a Thursday. Things like that.
Yeah, I mean, and I don't know. I mean, it's a fluid situation, and you try to adapt to everything. But I'm going to try to do it Monday to Friday. I do my 2 hours, in the early evening, and maybe a late live, or if news breaks. But at the weekends, I'm going to try to not do my own ones, and just so I can go round, on other people's panels and things like that. And so it's more recreational because it's a
Yeah,
difference. There is a difference, isn't there? Really, there's a difference when you're a guest on someone's panel than there is actually running the panel because you can go and make a cup of tea. You can do loads of stuff, can't you?
yeah. Hey, Mishi, good to see you, babes. Been a while. Nice to see you. You're always welcome. Yeah, I'm thinking of doing like probably the opposite of you, Art. You're like through the week. I think I might just do weekends, or maybe a Friday and a Saturday like that. And
Yeah,
it's
a late night one. Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, yeah. I mean, it gets to Friday, and I've done, 4 or 5 shows during the week which
More
go
than
out.
that, you've done about 8 or 9.
Yeah, but I'm talking about these sort of like 6 till 8 or 7 till 9. Those
Like
ones.
your regular, you call it your regular hours, really.
Yeah,
don't you?
yeah, exactly. And by then, the weekend you can go round. Although I'm feeling a bit better now, but I found that very draining yesterday. And I'm still feeling the
Oh,
effects.
me too, mate. Honestly, and I don't know whether that helped bring on my symptoms. Fucking hell. That was horrendous at times. It was like pulling teeth, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was. Well, it's
It's
exhausting.
crazy. I mean, we put too much attention on that, really, haven't we? But it comes back into your mind. You've got, it's what kind of like dominated, and it just kept coming back up, and everybody was getting tired of it. And
Is your hand on the microphone because it's very quiet?
oh, sorry. Yeah,
That's better. That's better.
I'm gonna get a stand anyway. I am. Gonna have to get a stand. But yeah, so it's funny how that happened, kind of like that. But also, in a way, there's some positives that will come out of it, because that showed clearly what was what, who was, an issue, an aggressor, all the rest of it. And it wasn't just once or twice, it was 5 or 6 or 7 times. And it was like trying to control the masses, and it was trying to, do something with that person and be like that with that person, and, control who comes on the panel, and, maybe get an influence on that person. Very, very calculated and controlled, sinister. And I loved it. I was shouting when you dropped it about coming to visit Brighton. I was shouting and howling.
Did you see? Did you see Steve? Did you see Plastic Paddy when I
Yeah.
brought it up and he laughed? Did you
I
see
was
him?
shouting and howling. I was on Discord, you see, as well. I was howling and shouting. And it was
Yeah,
brilliant.
yeah. I mean,
Don't want to say too much about anything else, but yeah, I was howling. I thought, yeah. Sometimes you do the right thing, don't you?
well, yeah. I mean, to be honest with you, as I started talking about it, Paddy really started laughing. He put his hand over his eyes as if to say, "Here we go," right? And it was quite funny. And there was nothing that the person could do. There was
No.
nothing they could do apart from have to confess to it and then
Yeah.
try and justify it. And it was
Yeah.
it was a good moment, really.
A fucking excellent moment, mate. Honestly, I was howling. I knew. I thought, go on. I thought, do you know what it is, yeah? I thought, fucking, at least fucking someone's got some bloody backbone and balls. Yeah? Because at the end of the day, that had to happen. Yeah, in my eyes, if that was me, that would have happened the same way. Yeah, it had to happen. Because, and what do you do? What do you do when you're in the corner and your boots leaking, and that's it? You got holes in your boots and you've got to talk, and it's either that or you're drowned.
Well,
It's
exactly.
like,
And with me, exactly. With me, it never gets to that position because I'll always come out and say everything up front and transparent, and you have to face
yeah,
the music straight away. I don't try and, if I make a mistake, I will literally own it straight away and go, yeah, this is a mistake. Okay, fair enough. Rather than wait, because otherwise it's a ticking time bomb. That's been ticking away for about 2 or 3 weeks, isn't it?
yeah, and it's like, no, it had to happen, and that absolutely shows certain things in a certain light, and I just thought, yeah.
I just thought it was a bit sinister. I thought it was a bit weird.
A bit sinister, you having a laugh.
I
The
know.
funny thing was,
Go on.
the fucker didn't find you. 9
Yeah.
days. 9 days, you haven't a giraffe. If I was coming looking for you out, I'd find you within the first few hours.
Well, of course you would. It ain't hard, is it? I mean, honestly, it's not rocket science.
Oh,
It's,
I went down to Brighton, it's my
oh, for
holiday.
goodness
I
sake.
walked down the street, my missus didn't want to know. She was all tired, she wanted a cup of tea. And oh God, I didn't even find you. We don't live near that beach. What about that beach? I walked that beach yesterday and the day before I walked that beach. Yeah? What a fucking div. Yeah? And that is an impression. What a div. Yeah? Let me tell you. 7 days and a 2-day extension on the holiday, and you still don't get your objective. Let me tell you. You ain't getting that from fucking me, ever. You know, I'd have got there, you know, fucking on a skateboard with no fucking legs and arms. Yeah, in that time, it's just phenomenal. And that was just really funny to me, and a couple of others. You know, it was good. But no, thanks for bringing it up. It needed to be done.
Yeah, well,
You know, it needed to be done.
well, it was just,
No, and you have a right to know why.
yeah, well, and also the fact was I just brought it up, and then once we sort of got into it, then someone else came on and he just attacked them. So I just put myself on mute. I thought, well, you know what, it's not, I can't say anymore. And then the fact that I was being quiet was then used against me as if I was spying
Yeah.
a voyeur, and it was,
Anything,
yeah,
anything to try and use against you.
I
I'm
know.
pouring a brandy to that one, Mister Turbo.
Yeah, well, I'll tell you what, honestly, though, there is, when sometimes the old sayings are the best, and the best one is when you're in a hole, you stop digging, don't you?
Yeah, some people don't know, do they?
Oh my God, yeah, but he kept on digging 5 times.
That's what I mean. Those people hang themselves or dig the hole bigger, you know, and get in it. You know, the low, very low intelligence. Do you know when you assume things and you assume people around you are not as smart as you? Yeah, it's the mother of all fuck ups. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean,
I
although,
never look at anybody like I'm
yeah,
smarter than them.
although I would say that, to be honest, even the brightest people, if they're under the influence of alcohol to that extent, right, well, then everything goes out the window. And that's not to say it's an excuse or for anything, but anyone who's under the influence of alcohol, okay, he's not going to come across very well. Um,
No, but was he under the influence of alcohol for 9 days looking for you?
no, of course not. Again, that's a very fair point you're making there. Really, yeah, I know. And maybe I'm being perhaps a little bit too lenient. I don't know.
You are being very lenient in my eyes.
Yeah, no, you're correct. I don't know. I take that on board. That's right, what you say. But it was just, yeah, it was. I don't know. It's.
I would
I
like
can't.
to say
I
what would
can't.
happen if he tried doing that to me. While he was still talking about it, I think someone would be fucking on his door. You know, pretty damn quick. You know what I mean? Honestly, it's
But the
like,
ironic thing is, though, if he'd have contacted me right via online somewhere and said I'm going to be in Brighton, I'd have said come round for a cup of tea. I'd have said come round. Here's my address. I'll put the kettle on. And if he'd have come round, I'd have said, "How you doing? All right," and that'd have been the end of it. I mean, so I can't understand what the motive was there. As if it was, that I really don't understand what the motives were in the first place.
I believe it was to confirm, like, maybe something to do with where you live, your lifestyle, finances. You know, have an idea of, you know.
But then didn't he go on? Yeah, but didn't he go on to say he thought I was in Dubai?
He did at the end, yeah. He did at the end, didn't he? Yeah.
Yeah, and also he said I've been to where you say you live and you don't live there.
Do you know what it is, right? And you'll know this. There's people that imagine things, and then in their own mind it becomes reality, and they act on it. Yeah. So they're acting on things they've imagined, and they could have imagined it or thought it or thought they've researched it when they're pissed. They imagine it and they kind of like, then they start to act on it, and then before you know it, in their mind it becomes reality. And they then try to do something about it for whatever unfounded reasons that they have. And it's like a fantasist type, imaginary kind of wanting to prove something to themselves thing, and wanting to be like be like a spy, and be like undercover, on operations, things like that. Yeah, the amount of people that want to do that is unbelievable. I've got somebody on YouTube now on a big podcast lying about something I was involved in, not mentioning names, but lying about his part and the reasons how I ended up doing that particular thing and all the rest of it, and exaggerating about amounts and places and things and how he got into it. All bullshit. And those sort of people, there's lots of them. You know, they
Yeah, and
want
the
to.
other one, what about him? The other one, Moscow Flyer. He said on a live that he believes I'm on the east coast of America. I mean, honestly, what are these people? Where do they get this from? Honestly,
I
I
don't
can't.
know. I think it's Patrick Penny told me that.
No one, no, yeah, the Moscow Flyer man. You know, the Scottish man.
Yeah, yeah, of course they did. The degenerate gambler.
Well, I threw that at him as an attack. I don't know whether he is or
I
whether
thought
he
it
is.
was quite good, that one.
Well, I just used that when I was in an argument. I just used that to throw at him as a negative, and he took it very personally. Okay, and got
Of
very
course he did.
angry. And he got very angry, and he came back and he said, right, which actually made me laugh. He said, "I'll bet you any money you want. I can prove I'm not a degenerate gambler." I said, "Well, you've disproved it because you want to bet money that you can prove you're not a degenerate gambler." But honestly, so I don't know whether he is or whether he isn't, but he's got a distinct anger towards me, right? And unfortunately, right, it seems to be, I seem to be in his head for some reason, and also with the other fella from down
Me
the
too,
west
as
coast.
well. Me too. He turned on me because he's up the other guy's ass. You know what I mean? Same thing, same kind of vibe. I never had two words, two sentences with a guy, no issues, and then one night that other person involved, and before you know it, you know, he's kind of making snidey comments to me and this and that, you know, and it is kind of it does come from that particular angle. But no, it's like when I said I knew a trainer, yeah. I
Right?
said I know one trainer in the UK and one in Ireland, yeah. And what it was is I did some contract work for these stables, yeah,
Okay.
and you know did these contracts for these stables, and I described one of the stables, yeah, and it's got a pond in the middle of the yard, the horse yard. It's got a
Right?
big pond in the middle, and it's got a big clock tower that goes up from the middle of the pond. And this clock tower has to be absolutely bright white, yeah? It's
Okay.
like 80 foot tall. And then all the buildings had to be a certain way. It was like white, parts of it were white, and then parts of it were stone, which was cleaned up, pointed, and given a special clear coating, yeah? To protect it and stop it getting really muddy. So it could be power washed off. And you know, all the horse bays and boxes had to be a certain olive green, you know, the woodwork and everything. And then the metalwork had to be a certain colour as well. And it was all done, and even the stone on the yard, which was like a cobble but as smooth as it could be, was kind of treated and sorted out as well. Beautiful yard. I described it, and someone else in the chat knew where it was.
Right?
And I said, I'm not naming no names, blah blah blah. Someone else named it. Talk about green with envy and all the rest of it. I never named anyone. I never bragged nothing. Yeah, green with envy in the private chat. Should have heard it. I never had words with him at that point that day. Unbelievable. And all I'd done is gone and done a contract there, and you know, remained knowing one or two of them after, and you know, very very big organisation, and oh god, I could see through the screen that he was green
Oh dear.
because he was kind of on about stables and this and that, and but I'm not huge into that, so it's what it is.
Do you know what? I think I can remember he was making reference to that on a live one day and saying, oh, and he was saying about a family in Ireland and da 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 da. And I think he was talking about you one day on a Carpackie Kid live early in the morning, and he was saying about someone who was talking about a stable in the UK, and I know the family who come from Ireland and this, that, and the other. Was that the
Hmm.
same thing?
Yeah, pretty much. It would have been that. I didn't hear that one, but yeah.
I can't remember the details, but now you mentioned that, I remember that Moscow Flyer making reference to someone negatively saying, "Oh, he said he's been to this stables in England, and I know the family in Ireland, and it's a load of rubbish, and this, that, and the other."
Yeah,
And at
yeah.
the time, it didn't resonate with me, and I didn't know who it was. He may have mentioned your name, Cool Tools, but I didn't know who you was. The
Yeah,
first
well,
time the first time I ever took um, um, uh, took notice of you or know who you was when you left a comment on my video when I was speaking. That first comment, which you said that you did right, that was the first time I'd sort of known of you, and that was it. So, and this was before then, going back to the summer. This was
and then we've been
early,
on a couple of panels, haven't we?
yeah,
We went on one or two panels, didn't we?
yeah.
Once or twice.
And I
But
think
like,
we had an exchange after that where you were talking about your family's background in the fairground and showman that they were. Do you remember you
yeah,
sent me
yeah.
an
And
email?
thing was, is I don't name names when it's people like that. Yeah, I don't name names, but I could have, I suppose. But also, I never told him about the real kind of close lot that are related to me that are involved in horses down at Ascot. Yeah,
Hmm.
I never told him. I never even mentioned that. But I can say something, and people will know straight away. Yeah, it's like, you know, absolutely Ascot is absolute. Yeah, let me tell you. I've got some young little nippers in my extended family, the little fuckers, yeah, with the
Hmm.
ladies, with the cars. They've got that, you know, billionaire lifestyle when they haven't had to do much, yeah?
Speaking of Ascot, then, Coulters, can you ask me this if you knew? Did you ever know the man? Obviously, he's much older than me and he's dead now. But did you ever know the man who owns Berkeley Homes, started it, Tony Pygley? He was a traveller and he lived in Ascot and he had about 100 acres, big farm, and his son, young Tony Pygley. Have you heard
I
of him?
know of them, yeah?
Yeah.
It's quite a similar situation on my side.
Okay.
Persimmon Homes.
Persimmon. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, I've heard of them.
Yeah, well, Persimmon Homes is the biggest house builder in the UK. One of their people that was involved in getting the houses up. They
Right.
managed to get some breaks where it comes to planning, things like that. But
Yeah.
there was a shortage of bricks. Shortage of bricks, yeah?
Uh huh.
Anyway, one of the guys for the company, kind of like manager type, sort of director or whatever, director of, you know, products and, getting the material to build the houses. Yeah, they were struggling with bricks and all that. They were ordering from all around the world. But in the end, they started making their own. And Persimmon went from low down on the housing building scale to being the biggest house builder in 1 year because they started manufacturing their own bricks. Instead of hanging around twiddling their thumbs waiting for ships to come from Italy and things like that, they built a facility that made bricks and
Okay.
they just overtook everyone. Let me tell you, that manager, how much do you think he earned that year?
500,000.
He earned 625,000,
Good God.
yeah, as his wage, yeah. But as his bonus, he got 76 million.
Oh my goodness. How much?
76 million on his bonus.
Good. Well, that's it then, isn't it, eh? That is it, isn't it, eh? 76 million. One
Yeah, on
year.
his bonus. But 76 and a half, something like that it was, yeah. On his bonus. And it caused a big stir in business, everything. Because, obviously that's huge. They overtook all the other house builders. Wimpy, all them sort of people, Red Row, went straight to the top. And yeah, some of their finish, I actually got offered a job, to run a company of my own, doing all the snagging. on Persimmon Homes. All
Is
the
that where you
snagging
have?
in
Is
the
that yeah? Is that where you go back and do mistakes?
yeah, you go through the whole property, every single trade, and make sure everything's correct and tickety boo, because they were signing off work when really the finish wasn't what it should have been in a lot of places, and they were building that many houses so fast that all the tradesmen moved over to them, you know, the subcontractors and all that moved over to them, and they were getting away with signing off work that wasn't 100% perfect. Their clerk of works, they didn't have enough of them. They weren't very good, yeah? So then now lots of companies have popped up about snagging. You know, snagging companies where they just go in after the property's built and they go through all the different trades, each property, and snag it. And it doesn't get sold, you know, people don't get the keys, should I say, until all of them things are dealt with now. Because they were getting a really bad name through snagging, you know, through some of the finish. Yeah, because they were getting thrown up. Because there was this government scheme as well about 20% and all this, and help with your deposit and rent some and buy some, and you know, all this stuff to get people in new houses. I got offered a brand new house for 4 years. You know, if I took that on, it was in Wakefield. Yeah, they offered me it to live in it for free for 4 years, while I dealt with all the issues in the sites in the area. There's quite a few. You know, talking thousands of houses. You know, a lot of work, and they wanted me to do that because I had some experience. But yeah, you can look it up. Look it up, yeah, and you'll find it. You know, Persimmon Homes. Uh, you know, bonus, whatever. I don't know what you put it in, but yeah. But a lot of people, you know, you think, God, that's how could he do it? But the guy was under a contract, yeah, with Persimmon, like a management contract to some description, and he's known what angles he had, and he's pushed it, hasn't he? Used his brain, you know, got the bricks being manufactured, and that's all in the space of 12 months. You know, that's very short time to get that going. You know, I was surprised you could get a brick factory manufacturing, you know, that quickly, but apparently you can. So, and you know, even if he set out 1 year and then the performance was for the next year, it doesn't matter. He got the cherry, didn't he?
He certainly did.
God, I'd retire after that. You know what?
Yeah,
It's a bit bad press, but I'd just retire.
yeah. How long ago was that?
Oh God, it's about 6 years ago, maybe 7.
Okay.
If you put in, I think it was in Yorkshire that did it. Yorkshire News.
Okay.
Just put Persimmon Homes management bonus 76 million. I'm sure you find it. I mean, numbers are staggering, aren't they? Fucking hell.
I can't. Yeah, you can't even understand what they would what that would even look like.
But yeah, that was it. That's what happened. And then you've got, you know, all the people linked to it and things like that. You know, they've had a decent bit as well. And you've got the youngsters up and coming that don't have to do a great deal. You know, they work, but they don't do huge amounts. And they live the rock star lifestyle. Private jets, you know, supercars, all that type of stuff.
Yeah, well, those two brothers, they done really well, didn't they? The Candy brothers. They
Yeah,
started in
similar thing, you know, very similar.
1995. They, you know, they bought and sold a flat, and then on they went on. They're both billionaires now, weren't they?
Yeah, I don't necessarily. I've just heard of them, but similar thing. But
Nicholas and Christian Candy. They're two brothers from Guildford, I think.
yeah,
And
because there's a lot of people involved in these businesses. You can't just do these businesses as a pair of people or four directors. There's fucking huge structure to it. That's what scares people away, isn't it? Like, it's okay building up, but a lot of people get scared with the investment you have to make to get to them sort of levels. But along the way, you ride your luck, don't you?
yeah,
And somewhere along the way, instead of just the thing they're on, it was like it became very good because of a few bits and pieces.
I think I might have found that story.
Yeah,
Persimmon boss asked to leave amid outrage over bonus. Jeff
that's
Fairbairn's
the yeah,
Jeff
that's it.
Fairbairn's 29-year career at house builder to end after he got 75 million payout despite damaged firm's reputation. Is that it?
Yeah, that's the one. I'm just going to mute a second, but I'm listening.
Okay, right. Yeah, the highest UK's highest paid chief executive, Jeff Fairbairn of house builder Persimmon, has been ousted just 4 months after collecting a £75 million bonus. The huge payout awarded for outstanding performance unleashed a furore of executive excess, and on Wednesday, Persimmon said Fairbairn was stepping down at the request of the company because the controversy was having a negative impact on the reputation of the business. How about that then? He's right there, you see. Yeah, cool tool, see,
You
right
think
again.
he's bothered? Yeah,
75 million. But hang on a minute, yeah, Fairbairn, sorry, had been in line for £110 million payout before it was scaled back in the face of political and public outrage. So he was meant to get 110 million, but he only got 75. Good grief. Yeah, this was 2018, November, so 4 years ago that he got that. Blimey. God, that's some payout, isn't it, eh? Blimey, it's all right to be at the top, isn't it?
his wages on top. Also, what tax do you think he'd pay on that?
40%, wouldn't you? Wouldn't it be 40%? I'd imagine it's well, it should be
I'd
40%.
imagine, but don't you think he'd be squirreling that into some kind of scheme?
Yeah, yeah, into some kind of trust fund, or if he goes abroad and spends 12 months, spends a whole financial tax year abroad, then he won't have to pay anything on it, will he? Because a lot of people do that, don't they? They leave the country the day before the financial year starts, go and live in Switzerland for 9 months, come back, and they don't have to pay any tax on anything you earn in that time.
They do, but the thing is like, I don't know whether that is that before you earn it. You've earned it then, so in there something around that. I don't know, but it'd be interesting to know because flipping out. He, he kind of got. I mean, scaled it down. You would be a bit pissed off as well, wouldn't you? That's huge money. That secures your future family for ever, really, if you do it right.
Mm.
I mean, I
Yeah,
don't
that.
know. I mean, scaled it down. What? Did he agree to that? What is it? I mean, I suppose you've got that sort of money coming to you, and you think it might not come to you through reasons out of your control. What is it? The best thing to do? Get the stiff neck in the bank? What do
Yeah,
you think?
exactly. And I mean, you
He
talk.
said it's probably best to get the majority of it as quick as you can, and then maybe fight for the rest, or I don't know, but it's still a lot to lose if you're entitled to a 110.
Yeah, well, also, yeah, and also you got to remember, that is what you call generational wealth, isn't it? I mean, that kind of wealth
Oh yeah,
would
that's
go.
proper. That ain't used correctly and put into all different things. That is something that affects your children's children and their children if it's done right. So You know, I mean, as if he was bothered. You know, the way they were trying to like say that you know, he stepped down and all that. I'd have walked as soon as I got the stiff neck, wouldn't you?
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
Who cares? But no, absolute. I mean, that's because he's had a certain sort of contract, yeah, and he's used his nous to make the most of it. Used his initiative, outside the box thinking. Where are we going to get these bricks from? You know, at what price? How are we going to do this? You know, there's no bricks. We can't build a bloody one house in, 2 months. You know, it's like that. And he was clearly behind that particular move. And he knew his contract, and he probably had it all double checked. You know, a man like that, I would have had it all double checked before he started making the moves, yeah? And then he
Yeah,
starts making the moves and, starts to get the numbers done. Gets all the subcontractors over as well. Now, admittedly, quality, I don't believe the quality was the highest, but at the end of the day, it's a numbers game for him. He's just a manager, he employs people to do X, Y, Z. So no, I was really impressed, with that. Flipping hell.
yeah. Oh no, definitely. Um, oh, and another thing as well. I don't know if you remember that from last night. I don't mean to keep going back, but I just wanted to point this out as well because do you remember when Moscow Flyer came on and I spoke about that cease and desist order, and he said it's a load of lies, and I was
Oh
making it up.
God.
No, but hang on, I sent it to Plastic Paddy on Twitter, and I sent it to
I've
you.
seen it, yeah. Yeah.
And so it just annoys me when people just dismiss things and think you're making them up, don't they?
It's easy for them to do that, yeah, and then it's like you want to prove your hand because it's easy for them to do that, isn't it?
Well, it's two things. It's two things that's happened. That was one thing, and then the other one was when a certain person was saying, "Oh, I would never show my face and all that," and so I showed it to Plastic Paddy, and then tonight I showed it to you as well. So it's not that I won't. It's just the way that I am. And it's a little sort of niche, but apart from that, I mean, I've got no worries about someone, identifying me or anything like that. You know what I mean? So that
They're
again
trying
is
to they're trying to use that, to try and stress you out, intimidate you. You know what I mean? All that rubbish. Yeah.
exactly. So now anyone who says that about me not showing my face, well, you can say, well, I've seen what he looks like, and
Hmm.
Plastic Paddy could say the same, and
I've
certain
got no
other
problem
people.
chirping up. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's what it is, and those people, you know, uh, they're gonna just try and continue to do that, intimidate,
Yeah, well,
piss you off.
and what
They
and
soon
what I
go
did.
away when they're ignored, though, don't they?
Yeah, I mean, um, uh, to be honest with you, what I said is exactly what happened. The Sussex police came to my door with that letter that you got a copy of, and they said, we've been asked, we've got to read this to you and then hand it to you. And they read it to me, handed it to me. Right, I closed the door, and that's the end of it. So I came in and I thought about it and thought, well, hang on. Yeah, I should apply. I should comply with this, and I removed 1,200 tweets, and I mean that 1,200 tweets and over 100 YouTube videos. You know what I mean? And that's the truth of the matter. I'm not lying. I mean, that's exactly what happened. I mean, I've got no need to lie. And that's what annoys
But the
people when
thing
they
is, you
try and.
don't want to. You don't want to like continue saying about it because they think, oh, they've got to you a bit. Then, you know what I mean? You just get rid and ignore them, and
Yeah, but
piss them off.
sometimes, yeah, but on certain things, okay, right, it just shows that people can't just throw allegations at you because you're not shy. And two things which were major though, the major thing was people about seeing what I look like and that I never come out from behind the camera. Well, I mean, I've done that twice to two people in 2 days, and so that it proves that that's a load of nonsense, and it just takes another weapon that they try to use against me. It takes that out of their
Yeah,
arse.
yeah, I'm all with that. And the way I see it is, listen, every day we all age. Yeah. Bottom line is, yeah, we all look like we do. Yeah. The other thing is as well, yeah. Who the fuck are you to fucking tell me to fucking show my face? You're coming to my channel, mate. If you want to come on, show your face. If you fucking don't show your face, you're not coming on. Simple. Yeah? Go to another channel. Go to your own channel. Yeah? That's the
Hmm.
rules. Play the game or don't do it. Yeah? And that's it, you see? They're trying to bloody bully you and all the rest of it. And,
Exactly. I
you know,
hate
there's
that.
tactics that can go around people like that in a heartbeat.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And I mean, that's one of the
Give
things
me a
that I
moment.
don't, that's one of
Go
the
on.
things that I don't, it's one of the things that I don't like, you know, more than anything is bullying. Bullying is the worst thing, you know, in society, you know, and it doesn't, not only the schoolyard, not only the aggressive people, but also in the workplace and other places, and even on YouTube. The bullying of people being horrible and bullying. I don't like it. Do you know what I mean? And that's it. You know, but that's the reason why I stood up to those two issues was because it means going forward, if anyone tries to use that against me or use it as a weapon, well, then there are plenty of people who have seen me. And as I say, you can go to my YouTube channel and there's two sizzle reels that I did for a potential TV series up there with me on it. You know, I've chosen just to stay behind the thing. It's just because it for me it's easier. And I don't want any bells and whistles and all that game on my channel because I've seen what's happened to other people, you know, not least Plastic Paddy, not least other people with copyright strikes and with this and with that and all that carry on. So I just wanted my channel to be as basic as possible. Just me there having a chat. Someone comes on, I respond to the comments and that's it. You know, I mean, almost like a radio show. Okay, because then that negates a lot of the stuff. And even now, where I used to read out articles, I won't do that anymore. I'll just summarise the article because I believe that the mainstream media are coming for YouTube because they can see it as another source of revenue for them. And so they're going to produce their own YouTube channels. And so they're going to be much more sensitive to people using footage from them or even reading their articles. Okay. And so that's another thing that I think is coming down. You know, coming down the line, I think that's going to happen. I think we're going to see that, you know, people reading articles verbatim, right? They could get a strike. Certainly, those who use footage are going to find it more difficult going forward. Okay, and they might find themselves the subject to strikes. So that's where, you know, that's where I've just done what I've done from the beginning, and it seems to be something that has, you know, been advantageous for me. I haven't had to touch wood worry about copyright strikes because I don't use footage, and I, you know, and I certainly don't just read out articles now. But as I say, it's a learning process, and you know, I think it's going to be a change in the way YouTuber channels are going to operate, not just true crime, but right across the board. Because if the mainstream are going to come for YouTube, then it means that they're not going to tolerate YouTubers using other people's footage and all that. And so, you know, when the tide goes out, we're going to see what people are made of and whether their channel can, you know, can stand on the personality and the gravitas of the person running the channel. You know, because there are a lot of channels out there that just rely simply on footage. I mean, there's some channels that use a computer generated voice as well. You know, they might write a script or they may have an article or something, and then a computer generated voice narrates it, and they use lots of visuals and footage and that stuff. Well, you know, that's almost like you know, a fake channel, really, because I mean, there's no human input there. All it is visuals and a computer generated voice. Well, you know, maybe they will fall by the wayside. I don't know. We just have to see how we get on with that. You know, so you know, it's just something to think about. I don't know where Cool Tools is gone. Is he making his breakfast? I wonder if he is. It's now 6 o'clock in the morning, 6:06, but really 7:06 it was yesterday because we've lost an hour. And it's what, Sunday, isn't it? Yeah, that's it, Sunday today. I haven't even bothered to look what the news headlines are. You know what I mean? It's probably depressing. But I might just go and have a quick look just to have a little see what's been going on. Let's have a look here. No, we've got nothing here. Look, UK accuses Russia of peddling false claims. Really, yeah? Well, Russia could accuse the UK of peddling false claims. It's called propaganda. And all we get as the public in the West is the propaganda. We don't know what's really going on. We don't know what's happening behind the scenes. You know, because we never get the full story. We just get one side and one, and the way it's spun. And the big headline is that Labour is putting pressure on the Prime Minister, Rishi Sunak, to come clean over that nasty woman, Braverman, Suella Braverman, the Home Secretary, how her reappointment was got to, and whether it was a carve-up. Well, we know it's a carve-up, right? She's a dangerous, vicious, nasty right-winger, fascist. She's a supremacist, right? Honestly, a danger. Suella Braverman is a danger to British national security, in my opinion. What's that? Serial 146 people have been killed in a Halloween crush. Where's that? In the Philippines, wasn't it? Was it in the Philippines or Thailand? Was it Thailand or the Philippines? I seem to recall. I mean, that's unbelievable, isn't it? 146 people. That's a lot, isn't it? God blimey. Don't know what happened there. Yeah, where was it, Thriller? Was it Thailand? Oh, Korea. Was it Korea? Oh, Korea. Blimey, what, South Korea? If it's blimey, South Korea, that's a modern country. That's a first world country. Blimey. Oh no, Doyle said that's a typhoon. So where was the crush? Where was the crush? And I don't mean Bobby Crush. Let's have a look here. Let's have a look here. Crush. Okay. Crush Halloween. Let's have a look on Twitter, see what we can see here. Let's have a look. Oh, it was the South Korean capital of Seoul. Blimey. The South Korean capital. Well, that's amazing, isn't it, eh? God blimey. Yeah, that was Seoul. It was Seoul. The crush was. Oh, the Philippines was a typhoon, Doyle said. Oh, okay, Doyle. Sorry. Yeah, I got it wrong. You know me, I always get it wrong every time. At least I'm consistent. No, the crush was in South Korea and the typhoon was in Philippines. Yeah, it's always this time of year, isn't it? That we get all these things happening. And when's the end of the hurricane season in the US? That's the end of November, isn't it? Isn't it? The hurricane season comes to an end in November and starts in June, isn't it? I think June till November is the hurricane season in the United States of America. So there's another, but when it comes to the end, there's not normally a lot in November. Mind you, say that, it's tempting fate, isn't it? They say the height of it is August, isn't it? August, September. End of August, beginning of September is the height of the hurricane season. And I can't remember, has there been a lot of bad ones this year? I can't remember. Yeah, I'm not sure. He's left me holding the fort here. I mean, I don't know what he's doing. Was he cooking a roast dinner? And what else has been going on then? Yeah, I was sent a link here. The Royal Navy destroyed a boat that was carrying £24 million worth of cocaine in the Caribbean by the Dominican Republic. You back now?
That?
I say I was reading the headline that the Royal Navy has destroyed a boat that was carrying £24 million worth of cocaine. They got the cocaine off first, and they got the crew off, and then they blew the boat up.
Wow.
That was off the Dominican Republic.
They're catching them all the time, aren't they?
Yeah, and when they're trying to catch it at source, aren't they? When it comes out of South America,
yeah, it is like that, and it's like they kind of going into that route, but I'm sure they, huge amounts are getting by.
Yeah, I've stuck the link in the back chat if you want to read the story.
Yeah, huge amounts to be getting by, won't it?
Yeah, exactly.
And it's like they want the UK to, have it because it's more lucrative. But now, the pound being weak, that's going to make a difference in some places, isn't it?
Yeah,
You know?
yeah. I mean, to be honest, anyone on YouTube, okay, that is being paid in US dollars is getting a really good exchange rate on the pound, aren't they? If you're doing business and you're being paid in US dollars, when you change it into UK pounds, it's what 110, isn't it now? 112 or 115. It used to be 150 for like years, wasn't it? I mean, decades.
Well, I was doing a bit of business with the power tools a couple of years back, and I remember it went up to 139 one day,
There you
and I
go.
was buzzing. I was buzzing with that 139. Come on, and I thought, yeah, this is going in the right direction, and yeah, 139.
Well, all through the 90s, all through the 2000s and 2010s, until 2016, for about 30 years, it was about $1.50, 1.55. That's where it was. Early 80s, I remember it was $2 or $1.90. And then by
Yeah,
1985, it was about $1.50 and stayed there for about 30 years. That's right, isn't it?
yeah, that's I don't personally remember. I had a little bout in the shares 88, 89, and it was part of a competition type thing, and with the Financial Times because it was all papers, wasn't it then? And yeah, the pound was very very strong, and it also affects the footsie, doesn't it? When the pound's strong, in general, it kind of reflects a bit on the footsie, doesn't it? Here and there,
When the
you know.
pound's strong, it makes their exports dearer. When the pound collapses, their exports become a lot cheaper.
Yeah, and
Unfortunately,
we make more money obviously when it's dearer, and it's like it was making things quite good. I mean, I went in with a formula about low cost shares. They weren't like the bigger amounts like BT, things like that. The shares that were in the 20s and whatever pounds. I kind of went with the low end shares because we only had an imaginary amount of money to start with, and it was £1,000. So it wasn't a great amount of money to be starting trading with. So I obviously realised quite quickly that the more shares you buy, the more uh, when you get the raise, it's going to be a bigger amount. It's times, isn't it? So I was picking shares that were from like I don't know, it was around 8 pence up to 30 pence. Doesn't sound much, but let me tell you, when they raise 5 pence and you bought a share for 13 pence, yeah,
uh,
that's a huge raise, isn't it? And obviously you've got more of them. And I worked that for best part of a year, about 9 months. It was all different companies, looking at the companies as well. It wasn't just blindly done this and that. And I didn't want companies that were going to go bust. Obviously, you got them at 5 pence. Next day, they're bloody, not there because they've been took off because everyone's dumped them and cut their losses. So it was a bit higher than that. But yeah, I did well. I won the competition.
did
Uh,
you?
yeah, I won the competition out of God, thousands of people. And I got offered uh, a work experience at one of the big companies in London. And I went there at work experience, and it was fucking exciting. I ain't gonna lie. I'm a little 15-year-old kid. Do you know what I mean? And it was fucking exciting. It was just like another world, and it was like they're a law unto themselves. I didn't understand the whole thing fully, but my maths was pretty damn good, and it's like I was quick on the acceleration and a bit like you, Turbo. But yeah, it was kind of another world, and I thought, yeah, I want to do this. But they started stipulating with their people that they bring into the company, they had to have certain A levels. before they'd employed them. Before it wasn't quite like that. A lot of them had got in before lots of rules had came in. So they were just in a lot of ways just top salesmen that got into certain areas, and I'm sure a lot of them have blagged their way in. But I was put with this half half sort of Thai guy, and he was fucking amazing. You know, committed. You know, you think, oh, these people are, they come to work, they do this, they do that, they do a few taps. It's all computerized at that point. A few taps on the computer, watch this, grab, watch that. You know, boom, go home for 6 o'clock. Yeah, no, 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 no. Nothing like. It was, I was there for 1 week, which was 7 days, not 5, not a school week. And this guy, I ended up staying with him because doing the journeys on the coach, 80 miles each way and all that, it wasn't working. So within literally a day and a half, he'd said, look, you can stay at mine, I've got a spare room. You know, clear it with your school and all that, and you can. And that's clear it with my school and clear it with my parents. Anyway, staying with him, he would get up for every single market. Get up, trade for God knows how long, every single market. Then he'd go in for the start of the footsie into the office. You know, we're blasting around in it was a Porsche 911 turbo, yeah? Blasting around, and that was just his fucking, I think he got that from a bonus of the previous year. Because the 80s was mental for all that. You know, he made a fortune very quickly, and no, it was really a real eye opener. And in some ways, I wish I tried to pursue that a bit more, but it didn't happen. It was just a work experience from school. I ended up doing the second week, and it was good fun. It was just opened my eyes, you know, completely. Because Wall Street, the film, I don't think it had come out then. I really don't. I can't remember. But anyway, it was that kind of thing. And he was doing deals at, I remember, regular 1.5 million, 500,000, 1 million, 250. It's all in, quarters and, holes or whatever. And then he did one deal, which was, it was like I think they call it a lead, where they go through and it's like the person is given right to, to do X, Y, Z for um, the lead of the amount of time they've agreed or whatever, and he smashed it. I think he got 3 million quid to start with. He turned that into fucking £5 million within 3 weeks.
Good God.
And I found that out. Do you know why? I found
Go
that
on.
out because I rang him I rang him to see what the score was because I was leaving. I don't. That was only on the second week that started, and I'd rang him and he said, come in on Friday afternoon or whatever." Blah blah blah. I went in whatever day it was, and I went into London and went in, and I knew his accounts and his figures and all the rest of it, sort of thing, roughly at that point because I'd been there. And I looked at a certain account, and he fucking made it into almost 5 million. And that was 2 weeks after I left. Yeah, when I popped back, unbelievable. I don't know where he is now, mate, but he was absolutely, some guy. And in a way, I was a bit. I thought, oh God, they put me with the bloody dull guy or this or that, kind of like all the easy work experience sort of. I don't know, bloody guide or you know what I mean, like that. Kind of a bit dull first of all, but nah, guy was committed. Every single market, every single day. I think now you could probably get away with it a bit more using apps and things like that, maybe. But no, them days you had to be on it, totally on it, because the computers weren't the best and the information wasn't as fast. And no, it was interesting.
I've
Good
just
stuff.
seen something. I've just seen something on Twitter. Sorry to interrupt you, Cool Tools, about your thing that you were talking about. SAS Rogue Heroes. It's on BBC iPlayer. Is that the thing that you were involved with?
No, that's the thing I know about.
Oh, what's the thing you said you were giving them help with? Not was you said you was weren't you
But
giving them?
they asked me, but
Oh, right.
somebody, yeah, someone else did it. So they asked me about it, and they did a few other things, that company, but there was they asked me about it, and someone else did it. I put them on to that person as well. They had other people, but those people couldn't be there at every single bit. It's like they bring you in for a certain scene or a certain bit, or they bring someone in for the storyline, or what's the best way of following this to
Yeah,
make
because
it
it's only
look.
just started. Apparently, that's the first episode came this week or something. That's what I see on Twitter.
Yeah, it's this week. That's what I said. I don't know.
30th today. Today it's going to be on
Yeah,
telly
yeah,
today.
that's what it's it. I'd been told about it earlier on. I
Mm.
knew it was coming, but I was being told about a few other bits and pieces about it.
Oh,
It's
right.
like it's a lot. Anyway, I know certain things, but and how certain sort of props would be and stuff like that. But it was for the older man, that would advise on that, and maybe help. But no, it wouldn't. It wouldn't nothing to do with me.
Oh, okay. Well, no, I just heard. Oh, no, I just remember when you said it, and it just popped up on my Twitter feed, and it SAS Rogue Heroes. I thought, hello, Cool Tools was talking about that earlier.
Yeah, it's based on the true events and
Is it?
everything.
What is it? Is it when they started at the beginning with Sterling? When it's
Yeah,
Sterling?
David Sterling. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah,
Oh, that was it. Yeah. When they
yeah.
weren't SAS, they were the OCS, weren't they? To start with, weren't it the
No, they
OCS,
were the
or was that the
LIDG,
CIA?
Long Range Desert Group.
Oh, okay. What were the OCS?
OCS is the American type of
Oh, that was the ones before
version of
the
the like
CIA, weren't
sort of
they?
CIA's thing and all that. Yeah,
Oh, that's it.
there's
Okay.
another one as well. I think The American did a few little organisations early on. Um, they had a training place. It's actually in Canada, but it's a training place, and you have people like Fairburn Sykes there. You know, they're like two people that were extremely experienced unarmed combat guys. Knife fighting. They actually invented and designed the dagger for the commandos, the Royal Marine Commandos.
That
They're
what
both,
I've got a funny story then, because I bought once years ago. I bought a Commando's dagger from the 1940s, and it was made by a company called Cogswell and Harrison. Have you ever heard of them? Cogswell and Harrison.
I
Right.
don't know that name, but it was designed by Fairbairn Sykes, two
Right, yeah,
people.
no, this was the company that made them. It was inscribed
Yeah,
on the blade, and it was yeah, I bought it for about £100 and sold it for 250. It was like a proper original Commando's knife, okay, and it was like a stiletto blade on it with a
that's
groove
right.
down the middle to drain the blood or something when you pulled
Also,
it.
somewhere to put your thumb in.
Right,
As you hold it, you've got where your thumb would be, like a
that's
thumb.
it. Yeah, yeah, that's it. It was made by Cogswell and Harrison. I
Yeah,
think they
that's
must
the
be.
one.
Yeah, they must be. It was a real proper commando's knife,
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah, like a stiletto. They weren't a huge
that's
thing. It
right.
was like a little stiletto, really, and
Yeah,
sharp as a razor. And
absolutely.
yeah, as I say, I bought it for £100.
Triangular style blade
Yes, that's it. Exactly what you're saying. It was
with a
perfect.
with a groove, like you say, for blood. Because
Yeah,
when you use that,
right,
there's a suction, and if you don't
right.
have that triangular style blade where there's a groove at the bottom,
Uh huh.
the suction you won't be able to pull it out quickly.
Oh, for goodness sake, yeah, yeah. But honestly, yeah, I did, I'm just going to go and make a cup of coffee. Just put the kettle on. It'll be 2 minutes.
Okay, no problem.
Oh,
No,
lovely.
them guys, Fairbairn Sykes, they were absolute experts at fighting. Without knives and with knives. They were kind of like the doctrine of unarmed combat in the Marines and you know uh, special services, and they gained their experience in China, China and Hong Kong on the streets. Like that. They gained their sort of unarmed combat fighting experience because those people they would arm themselves, but also they were very confident, overconfident in their fighting ability as well. So they would happily have a straightening wheel on the cobbles. Sometimes the knife would come out, sometimes it wouldn't. But it was about dealing with that, and they were like kind of they weren't police. I think they were. I think they were just like some kind of unit that was dealing with the gangs. And it's like end of sort of like colonization, all that. We're slowing down. Some, it's like they would kind of get the place reasonably kind of safe for the normal people, dealing with the gangs and all that. And apparently so, they were fancy. I think it was like early 1900s, 1910, 20, all that sort of time, something like that. But yeah, they had the experience and taught many people. And some of their moves, I've used, and I know they're very, very good. But yeah, it's like people like that. Their their kind of methods, teaching, and all the rest of it. It's always going to be used at some point. And I think it was used on a thing on TV as well, like some kind of TV thing where they were trying to teach people to be SOE agents. Because that was really good, I thought. Very well done. Don't know if anyone ever saw that. I don't know what it's called. I saw a couple of episodes. Like it was where they were SOE agents. Men and women training as per what would be, you know, what the training was for going into uh, occupied countries, etc. It was very well done. That about sabotage and blending in and yeah.
I'm back now.
Okay. Did you see that thing about where they were kind of like giving people 1930s SOE training? You know, like it would have been set Europe ablaze.
No, what? Sorry, what are we on about now? Sorry, I missed that bit. Can you
Well, I was
explain?
on about Fairburn Sykes, and then
Oh,
I
right.
was on about the training that went on, and then I was on about a program that was on a bit ago, which was showing like a bit like that SES thing where they try and teach them and learn them a process, and that was to do with the SOE,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
Special Operations Executive,
Right.
and
And
they
is that run out the cabinet office?
well, it doesn't exist anymore. It was World War Two.
Oh, right. Okay. What's that? Oh, okay. Yeah, but I think it might have been run out of the cabinet office. It was a direct link between the military and the executive.
Well, it
Um,
was it was like it was under Churchill's direction.
yeah, exactly. It was something that it was a hands-on approach. He was briefed about it every day, sort of thing.
Well, there's guerrilla tactics that they'd used in other countries before World War Two, and all that. And it was set Europe ablaze. That was the thing,
Yeah.
and that was what they were trying to
Oh,
do.
here, I forgot. I was going to tell you something. I forgot to tell you this. I was speaking to someone, right, Cool Tools. I won't say who, but a very, very well respected person who knows a lot about true crime. And I mean that, right, very well respected in the industry. Okay.
Yeah.
And I was just talking to him about different theories on the Essex boys. And I said about my theory with Tony Bowers, Peacock Jim. And then I mentioned what you explained to me, which we were talking about. And do you know what they said about what your theory? About
Go
the stopping the war and I thought it was interesting. They said that is a legitimate theory, which I thought, oh, that's quite interesting to know. As if they were sort of acknowledging that that was quite a respectable theory within certain circles.
Yeah, It's the first time I've ever really said that part of that. First time I ever did it, I've only talked to three people, and I talked with someone else. One person had died, and I talked with someone else who knows about that particular sort of theory as well. And it's like, you know, there's a lot more, of all that stuff.
Sure. Mm.
Pardon?
I say sure, yeah. I mean, when I just thought it was interesting. They didn't say, "Oh, yeah, there's a lot of conspiracy theories or there's a lot of stuff out there." It was
Yeah.
specifically they said that is a legitimate theory, and I thought, "Oh, funny thing to say."
There's more. There's more. I mean, like I could, you know, sometimes you got to be really careful about what you're saying, where you're saying, and you know that type of thing. It's not about talking to yourself. It's about just being careful because believe it or not, I mentioned it earlier. Someone had basically cross-referenced that version of events I gave, and someone contacted me and said someone's cross-referenced it against a statement, yeah,
Hmm.
and they put it up. I knew that I had an idea that was going to happen. That's why I've been a bit cagey, and it's like I had an idea that was going to happen, and I'm not really very happy with the guy because they all know me, yeah, and it's like I'm not really that happy with him. Um, but anyway, that's what's happened. It happened today, so it is what it is. But at the end of the day, that's why you never let all the cats out of the bag. Yeah, you never let it all out. Yeah, because simply someone will, say it's their version of events, this, that, and the other. Or they know this, they know that. It's very, very popular thing as well.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, I don't know whether it's because I've got a university background, but I've never been shy or I've never been concerned about giving someone credit for something that I'm saying. I don't mind doing it. Maybe it's because of plagiarism in university work and that, but if something came up and you sort of said something to me, I'd say, yeah, Cool Tool says this, or I was talking to Cool. I don't mind giving credit to people. I don't try to steal things and say that they're my own. And when I see people doing it, it annoys me, really, doesn't it you?
Yeah, no, I mean, the thing is it's for me, it's about timing. Yeah, things are, I'm trying. A bit ago I was working at getting certain things out there. There's people who listen to this who know, have an idea, you know, that what I was trying to do, where it comes to, uh, there is a book, TV script, that type of thing, yeah? And it's what to do. And also, it's very difficult to get, um, you know, those type of things passed. I mean, I know quite a sinister story about someone's trying to get a book like that passed. And if they don't like it, well, you're in bother. If you don't twist to the official line like they want you to, it does become a problem. I've realised that. I mean, the book not connected with that, but it needed to be proofwritten and checked. Yeah, I
Uh
know
huh.
somebody thought he could beat all that. He wanted me to put a little cameo bit in because I'd worked with this guy a few times. But there's one particular period of about 6 weeks that he wanted me to allow him to write a certain bit and me to have a bit of input, yeah? But I decided it wasn't a good idea. Don't know why, I just had a bit of a feeling. Anyway, long story short, he's tried pumping it all over different, all the major companies in the UK, some abroad in the States, things like that. And then I heard he'd gone to Australia. to Sydney to meet a publisher from Hong Kong or China, something like that. Yeah, it's definitely Far East somewhere, and he'd gone to Sydney with his wife, so making a bit of a holiday out of it as well. Well, very quickly. I mean, this is how things can get. Very quickly, they were having double sightings of a couple that were on the same plane as them. It's like not just on the same plane, it's like they're on the same plane, they go into Sydney, book into a hotel, and then that evening sees that same woman, you know, in the foyer of the hotel that they're in. And it's the wife that was noticing more, really. And then day goes on, and the next day she's looking in the bloody shop window and looks, whoop, same woman. Yeah? She knew the woman because of her hair. She wanted the hairstyle similar. And that was what kind of made her notice her. And then the real one, which was really sort of strong, was she wore the same top she was on the plane with on one of the 10th or 11th day. And they were shadowing him. It was obvious. Yeah? And then he started looking the guy and he realised that they were, monitoring him, tailing them, surveillance, all the way from the UK. So that happened, it went on, they were over there a number of weeks. They come back and he said, oh, I've got a deal, this, that and the other, and someone else associated with us, who was involved, he rang me and said, yeah, I'm getting 17 grand and all this shit, and you should have done it and all this kind of thing. I'm getting my check, end of the month, whatever, payment. I said, oh, alright. I said, I don't know, I said, I didn't really feel like, I said, it's a lot to pay someone for maybe 4 pages, yeah? It might have been 6 pages, yeah? What I had to give. But it's a hell of a lot, and I thought, well, why are they so keen to encourage certain bits out? And they wanted it to be, they wanted all the stuff that really the UK didn't want in there. They wanted that stuff really badly as well. So anyway, bank holiday weekend comes up. Bearing in mind these people live in all different parts of the country. Yeah? One lives in Scotland, near, top of Scotland on the coast. Not right at the top, but quite high up. One lives in Bristol. And one lives in just outside London, what's it called? Raleigh, yeah? Raleigh. So, what do you think happens?
Go on.
Over that bank holiday weekend, I get a phone call. Guy in Scotland's died. Mysterious. They tried saying it was some kind of overdose or something like that. Or he's reacted to some medication. But they didn't know at the time 100%, but he passed away. His dad rang me. Alright, fucking hell. Anyway, just gets on with my bank holiday weekend, having a bit of fun and all that. Another phone call comes. Martin's been killed. Or he's died. Martin's died.
Not the guy in Poland, is it?
No. Nothing to do with that. Martin's died. But I think he's been killed, she said. He was fine when I left to go out shopping. Yeah? Blah, blah, blah. I've come back. And they lived in Clifton in Bristol. We could search all this. And, Clifton in Bristol it was. And it's like, she's come back and he's dead. And he never said he was going in the bath and things like that. You know what I mean? And he's dead in the bath. So, he's the man that was pushing the book. Yeah? And got the book deal from a company in the Far East. And then, this is that was ringing, I was thinking, what the hell? I started thinking security then, yeah? So I gathered up all mine, and we went away, yeah? And I insisted, it caused arguments, yeah? I insisted, I said, listen, I'm not having, listen, we've got to go away. Oh, nothing's going to happen, don't worry about it. Oh, I know it's really bad, love, but you know, what's going to happen to you? You're nothing to do with it, are you? All the rest of it said, look, let's go away for a couple of days, and we're going. You know, my son's pissed off because of this, because of that. You know, it's like hard graft. You know, a lot of effort, a lot of negativity when we should have been having fun. Boom! Just for getting in the car, another phone call. Your man in Rayleigh found hanging.
Mm.
Bank holiday weekend. Let me tell you, I think I dodged a bullet there. If I'm totally fucking honest with myself. Yeah, I think I did. You know, it's like, you see, the thing is, yeah, they're all over the country, all the rest of it, yeah? But it's like, all in the same weekend, people of slightly different ages, in reasonable health, they didn't have any issues like, you know, alcoholism, drugs, anything like that. They weren't into that. Fitness fanatics, yeah, I could understand if one bloody ran and, you know, he had a heart attack on the running machine, yeah? You know, or he had a heart attack playing five-a-side, which did happen to a friend of mine, you know, and things like that. You know, you kind of think, well, yeah, but no, 3 in 1 weekend, bank holiday, boom. Nah. And that's what happened. So it's kind of made me extremely cautious. Now, my book's nothing to do with what he was writing about, yeah? Absolutely nothing to do with it. Totally different thing. Yeah? But
Mm-hmm.
listen, if the powers that be don't want something spoke about, they do stuff, don't they, to try and make you see the light and, you know, and make you think, ah, it might not be a good idea to do this. You know, and is it worth it, and that type of thing. So, yeah, that's what happens. It's fucking crazy, isn't it? And, you know, it wasn't like they were lifelong friends or my best friends, but, you know, I'd worked with him for a number of weeks and we got on and we looked out for each other, stuff like that, you know, it's pretty much that was it. And then it goes like that. That's how it can be sometimes, you know what I mean? And, you know, you've always got to remember there's always someone bigger out there.
Yeah.
And sorry, it's a bit sinister talk for a Sunday morning, but that's the story, and that's God. I can't believe I told it out like that. Actually, I've talked about it before, that particular one, because you know, is what it is. And if I told you, Friday of that week, I believe there was a book signing. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
Friday of that week there was a book signing. But you know, it'd all been printed and everything, or the first run. You know, they're doing the main book signing, you know, Mayfair or whatever it was. You know, so it was going to start, and they had to make sure it didn't, you know, get bought in the country or come in under, you know, whatever transport, because they can't always stop and search secure transport like they make out, like people think they can. So yeah, that is how it went down. And one of them was, you know, one of them was 26. Yeah, 26 years old. You know, it's no age. And I think that, you know, that shows. Now, where it come from, I've got my ideas, but I don't 100% know. But I do know from other things that things get acted on when it gets you know, close to the wire. I mean, fuck, take a book. Say it's fiction or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's like there's lots of different things you can do, but some people want things a certain way and they remain stubborn.
Yeah.
Surrounding that other case you're on about, God, there's so much attention being driven towards that. It's phenomenal. You know, and you know, anybody that did bring anything out, you know, it's going to be huge, especially when it's extremely bang on the money and, you know, pretty much can be proved. But you start naming people properly, and then all the rest of it, it can come back on you big time. And certain people, well, you know, it's not a huge deal for them to finish someone off or whatever. That's
Yeah,
why,
yeah, there's a whole subculture of this kind of stuff that is so deep and that we just don't realise that's going on and has been going on for a long time.
oh yeah, long time. It's almost as if you know, people think, oh, you know, that didn't happen. They wouldn't do that. It wouldn't affect me or this and that. You know, but listen, you can fall into the crosshairs quite easily, and it is what it is.
Yeah,
But for me, I do think you've got to really think about things like that on a level of David and Goliath. Do you understand what I mean?
yeah,
You know, you've got to think David and Goliath sort of thought. You know, there's always someone bigger, always someone better, and always someone with more money, more power, you know, more nous, more, you know, more reasons, the whole thing. And that's what it's really is, you know, David and Goliath. And you got to think, can I have one over on the Goliath? And I thought at that time it wasn't a good idea. Because there was also lots of other things going on of a similar ilk. So, you know, certain people get pissed off very quickly and just draw a line under it, yeah?
hmm
Sort these fools out or whatever, just nip it in the bud, yeah? You know, obviously we know there's other reasons they do that, but, you know, that's what it is. It's, oh, just nip it in the bud. We ain't got time for this. We've got them other things to deal with or whatever. And people just don't believe this shit happens, but it does.
yeah. But it's hard for people to actually comprehend that those kind of things go on.
Yeah, and they get a lot of it gets airbrushed from the real sort of you know, story, you know, the real, you know, news and stuff like that. Things like that getting pulled out all the time. You know, Wikipedia
Yeah,
and all that. They
yeah,
change. They have stuff changed under orders all the time. Yeah. People think, oh, it's a credible thing. They tell this story and about this man or that or this subject or this organisation. No, they're getting stuff changed on them all the time. You know, they write it out, whatever, try, you know, put it up, and very quickly they'll get the email or however they get their kind of word, and it'll say, take it down or change it. Yeah, and that's what happens. I know of one particular case, absolute fact, that they had the correct details up. Yeah, and it is to do with that case I was on about, that you was on about. They had absolute exact person there, name and everything, reasons, news, a little report in the paper, you know, the whole thing, and it's like, fair play, I know that's correct. But then you go back a couple of months later whilst you're talking to someone and they've changed the name. Yeah? They kept the they changed the second name. Yeah? And I've seen that with my own eyes. I know it was the other name, yeah?
Uh-huh.
That's why I screenshot a lot of stuff, mate. I think screenshotting stuff, you know, on your tablet or whatever is a good way of. Because I think you might mess around with your brain a bit if you didn't clarify things like that. But yeah, 100% a certain name got changed. You know, woman. And it's very clever how they did it. They did it from a married name to a maiden name. The first time. So instead of, you know, it could have been a maiden name to a married name. No, they went from a married name back to a maiden name. But that didn't actually work, so then they changed it again. And that, you know, that just confirms to me what others have said as well. They can't control the information, it's coming out so fast. Do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, I'd imagine, Wikipedia, I would imagine, yeah, because I mean, aren't there people employed to actually full time to go through Wikipedia pages and edit at them as well?
Yeah, you know, it's. Yeah, I know that they're one of the ones that, you know, I don't know about. You know, that was an absolute one that I can 100% say it was done, changed twice. You know, so they had their eye on that completely, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe they use sniffer programs, maybe they use, you know, what's it called, like programs that highlight changes, things like that, you know? And it's like, for me, they must be doing that on millions of sentences, you know, all over Wikipedia and maybe a lot of other places. Hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of sentences, etc., etc. It's a lot of, you know, I'm sure they got the programs to do it. Here he is. Oi, oi, Cossack, how you doing, brother? Nice to see you. Where's me fucking motorbike? Yeah, I'm afraid we have, mate. I just started the brandies about 2 hours ago. Gonna just finish this one up in a minute. Yeah, we have. Someone's taking a piss for your avatar, apparently.
Are they?
Apparently, he's saying he had to stop business because of you teapot. I don't know the whole thing about that. But yeah, it's like, Cossack is one of my boys for a long time. He knows a lot about a few bits and pieces to do with that story was on about and the people that really wanted to know. A few other details, things like that, you know. But the thing is it's better to keep your cards close to your chest until you're ready to play your hand. And I believe that 100%.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
What are you referring to, Crosshatch? Crosshatch. Let me know what you're referring to, mate. It'd be interesting to know. What are you typing now?
Me, I'm just checking Facebook. I haven't checked it for ages, so I was just checking. I haven't seen it for a while. I'm trying to be really quiet when I press the keys. What's happened there now? Oh, right. Okay. Oh, he's gone on quiet. I don't know what we're talking about now. He's left. Has he left me holding the fault?
No, 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 no.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I was just, as I say, I was just checking Facebook. I haven't checked it for a while. Oh, blimey, I got a message. Who's that from?
Oh, you got the okay on the visa. Good on you, man. And you got paperwork through. Yeah, I remember Cross Hatch. God, I can't forget. You know, I was in, you know, did a bit of that. It'd be good fun to get, you know, do a weekend of that or take my son or something. You know, help you out for a week or two. Whatever we can do. It's about what you can do and not what you can't do. God, don't he hit them keys like a bloody ninja?
Oh, sorry, I've
It's
just got.
alright, it doesn't matter. I'm just taking a piss, you know that.
I know. I'm going to go on mute. Let me go on mute. No, because I'm just doing this. I've got some good. It's my fault. I haven't looked at it. I've got some good news. It's a personal thing.
So, not yet. Still got to buy property and it doesn't happen till next January, February. Oh, that's cool. It's alright. You're moving forward. That's the thing. You got to move forward, don't you? Slowly, whatever. Yeah. Yeah, I just got to do something quick. I'm just going to message someone. Yeah. Hang on a minute, Cossack, I'll explain that in a minute. No problem. So no, yeah, I've had a couple. I have played loads, but yeah, I finished off beautifully, and yeah, it was someone else as well, which you know I did a deal with, and you know it went well. Yeah, it went well. Listen, if you come out with more than you went in with, you've done all right. But the name of the game is not to, you know, play your luck too much. You know that's the name of the game. Because you keep going, eventually it will go wrong, and you've got to keep putting everything into cyberspace because you know whether you realise it or not, that's part of it. You know, you end up being a bit, you know, play a bit bigger, you know, all the rest of it, and before you know it, done. Your bank's gone and you're bankrupt. So that's the thing to do. But no, it was all right. That's it, mate. I mean, it wasn't good as my massive run that I had. Flipping hell. Unbelievable, my best run ever. And, you know, when I tell people how that started, a lot of them are sceptical, but listen, I've got all the evidence, it's all there, I've shown a bit of it. You know, I've showed a lot, it doesn't matter to me, because that account's shut. Because I got banned for 5 years, didn't I, Crosshatch? There you go. You know what I mean? You've got to get them bigger things, that you know, bigger purchases and things like that out of the way as you go along. When you do that, you're dealing with things in your life, which I've noticed. So I try and do all that, you know, deal with them bigger things, and you know, and then try and come out with more than went in with in the numbers. You know, and when some bloody idiot on the other end of the phone says, you know, we think you've got an issue and all this stuff, and oh my goodness, I said it's improved things for me. Yeah, it's made things a lot more possible. All the rest of it, I'm copus mentis, I know what I'm doing. All the rest of it, and then in a way, I shouldn't have said that because it probably scared them more. You know what I mean? It probably did. So, but I knew what was coming anyway. I knew what was coming anyway. So it was like I knew what was going to happen. So, you know, it's a matter of how much, how long it was going to be for, and it ended up being 5 fucking years. Can you believe that? They got 15 outlets, including Coral, places like that. A lot of the other names that you know see on TV. Unbelievable. But it was like the part where they implied I was a degenerate gambler, etc. It was like I said to her, right, I want this tape. You know, data protection, I want this tape. Because you're not slandering me. Yeah? Blah, blah, blah. And they did everything for me not to get this. They were trying everything. And, you know, I think that's why they ended up making it to 5 years. Because they thought, oh dear. Because slandering you. I'm entitled to the tape. They're snookered. And there's a case that I know that's going on where the guy is, a group of people are pursuing him. Because they'll take one off you, and it'll be advertised and all the rest of it. You'll go, and then they won't, you know, you win, they won't give it you. That's normal sort of sports. And they'll blame it on the paper. Stuff like that. They blame it on the paper, saying they made the mistake. Printing and all that type of thing. Which is really, really disgusting. You know, it's meant to be regulated and all this stuff. What's a load of rubbish? Any which way they can get out of it, they will. You know, so there is a case where I could help, you know. Yeah, it's yeah, unbelievable. You got to yeah, it's difficult. I just know that when it comes to you know, that type of thing, and especially those ones that I mentioned, you know, those names, etc. Shouldn't have really mentioned the actual name, but yeah, they absolutely awful. You know, the way they do that to people. It's not a winner's market. And, you know, that's been proved many times. So they deserve what they get. And there's plenty of media going out nowadays that is, you know, Jesus. Yeah, it's no good having that attitude. No, I wouldn't think. No, you got to be a bit more controlled than that. The whole thing's about controlled profit and loss. Do you know what I mean? Where's Bloody Turbo? You know, where is he? Yeah, so give me a second.
Oh, I'm back now. Sorry, I was just sending a Facebook message. That's all. I hadn't looked at it for days,
All right,
and
mate.
someone wrote to me, so I thought I'd just better respond to them. That's all. Sorry
Of
about that.
course. That's all right. It's all right. Just give me a moment.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you know, see that's the trouble, you see, because I've got so many things to check. I keep forgetting, you know, and now Call Tools is telling me about another thing called WhatsApp. Honestly, there ain't enough hours in the day as it is. I don't know how to keep, but he did say though I should do it on a phone. Maybe I should get a phone. I don't know. Maybe I'll have a word with my boy and see if I can have that. What is it? iPhone, iPhone something it's called, isn't it? iPhone 12, isn't it? That's it, I think. It's right. I'm just looking at things, silly me. You know me. You know what I'm like. You know, I just check it. I ain't checked Facebook for ages, so maybe I've got to go and check all of them now. Right, hang on. It's that. No, not that one. It's this one. Right now, listen. You're going to hear me typing. I can't help it. I'm, you know, just typing away here, just checking things. You know, one day goes into the next day, and you know. Oh, there's only notifications on this one. Oh, that's all right. That's good. Well, I ain't missed much there. Then that's a good one. Okie dokie. Right, come out of there. Then that's it. Lovely. That's done. Is Call Tools there? Oh, I missed some. Okay, I missed some comments here. Let me have a read of them. Okay, well, that's keeping us up with these things here, with what we've been doing. So we just have to. Yeah, so we're just. I'm just having a little look around about what's happening, and Call Tools has left me holding the fort again. I don't know where he's off to. Whether he's having his breakfast or not, I don't know. But I think he's around here somewhere. Sorry, I've lost my train of thought. I do apologise. I'm just sort of trying to do three things at once. You know, like when, as I say, you can't tap yourself on the head and rub your tummy or something at the same time. Right, we got this. Da 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 da. Right, there we go. So we go on here. No, we don't want to come out of there. We come out of that one. We go to there. Right, let's have a look at this. Right. Well, he's gone, and is he still here? Am I holding the fort? Sorry about that, guys. Well, I'm holding the fort.
Yeah, I'm just checking up on something. Give me 1 minute.
All right, mate. Okay. Well, Doyle says, got to hand it to that Jake Paul. I haven't seen the fight, so I can't comment. Looked half good, improving. Okay. But I don't think fighting ex-fighters is very good. I mean, if Jake Paul is serious about being a professional boxer, why doesn't he, okay, have proper people who are ranked and move up the ranks in a traditional way? You know, is it because there wouldn't be so much money involved in that? I really don't know. You know, and until such time as Jake comes up against a current professional boxer, then I think, you know, the jury's going to always be out, isn't it? You know, Nate Diaz may be next, but, you know, it seems to be manufactured. But again, I can't speak about it because I haven't seen the fight. Okay. Now, as regards Lomachenko, again, I haven't seen the fight, so I can't comment, but he's won it on points. Okay, well, let's just give him that. But, you know, it looks like he would have to step up into a different league altogether to fight Devin Haney. You know, and I've seen it mentioned that Lomachenko, when he was asked about does he want to fight Devin Haney, he said he wants more time. Well, I mean, to be honest, if that, you know, that's an admission that he's not good enough yet to, in his own mind, to go in against Devin Haney. So it doesn't matter which side, you know, if you support or don't support Devin Haney. Lomachenko is conceding that he's not good enough at the moment to be in the same ring as Devin Haney. And, you know, at some stage, Jake Paul, if he wants to be taken seriously, he needs to be fighting someone, you know, like a professional boxer, you know, and good, bad or indifferent, and what the opinions are of Tommy Fury, okay, you know, that would certainly be a test. You know, and I don't know what other fighters would be out there of that weight. I don't know what weight does he fight at, Jake Paul. Was it 160, 165? Well, what about Eubank Jr.? You know, if he wants to start all this carry on, put him in against someone like that, you know what I mean? How long do you think he would last against someone of the equivalent weight bracket, you know, of the caliber of Chris Eubank Jr.? Ryan Garcia, yeah, that'd be a good one, wouldn't it? Yeah, Jake Paul against Ryan Garcia. He's a fake fighter, another one that's been manufactured. Ryan Garcia. Isn't he? He's trained, and he by the pervert one. What's his name? A good fighter, Oscar De La Hoya, isn't he? The one who likes to wear ladies' underwear or something, isn't it? I don't know what he did or something, right? He's pervy, isn't he? But him, Ryan Garcia, would he be in the same weight bracket? Peter, oh, light heavy. Oh, well, that's he'd be too far away from Ryan Garcia then, when there's no way they could fight. So light heavyweight, I don't know who would be out there that, you know, that you could suggest who could fight. You know, Tommy Fury is a good matchup. You know, good, bad, or indifferent, what you think of Tommy Fury. You know, he's a professional boxer. He's had that. You know, and if Jake Paul beats him, then you know that does put a bit more credibility to Jake Paul. But obviously, the problem is that the Fury family are banned from America for various different reasons. I mean, John Fury's banned from America because he's a thug and he got convicted for gouging a man's eye out. Peter Fury is banned from America because he's a drug dealer and a money launderer. He's got convictions for those and is still active member of organised crime. Tyson Fury's banned from America because he actively worked alongside Daniel Kinahan in organised crime. Who's the Warren fighter you're thinking of, Doyle? Light heavy. I'm trying to think of who you're thinking about now. Yeah, I mean, he needs to. I mean, Jake Paul needs to go in with a professional fighter with at least 10 fights, 10, 15 fights to their name, 10, 12, you know, professional fights, if he wants to be taken seriously. I can't remember. Maybe if you're going to look at the rankings, the ranking sites, you might be able to find his name. Light heavyweight, okay. Well, that's what is light heavyweight then? Is that what, 170, 175? What is light heavyweight? What's the range of weight for light heavy? Is that what, 170, 175? I don't know. I mean, maybe someone can tell me. I'm not sure. So I'm just having a little skirt round, like I do. I'm a bit tired, funny enough, still. Well, I've done a couple of lives, overnight, and so that's probably the reason. You're back, Cool Tools.
Sorry, but I was just trying to find out a couple of things about that. 150 odd people have been crushed.
Yeah, in South Korea.
Yeah. Pretty bad. Really bad.
Oh, yeah, so Doyle, if you're saying it's 12.5 stone, that's about 168. Okay, so would Chris Eubank Jr.
What's
be
that
out
in kilograms, let me think. 178, but it's like 185 or something, or 180.
Yeah, I'm just wondering whether Chris Eubank Jr. could bulk up and fight Jake Paul, because I'd like to see if Jake Paul wants to be taken serious. He's got to fight some proper professional fighters who are right. Fighting now, not retired.
Yeah, I mean, they talked about that Tommy Fury one for ages, haven't they?
Well, at least he's a lot more credible than the fighters he's had before. I mean, I'm not saying that Tommy Fury's that good, but at least he is a proper professional boxer, and that will be a legitimate test of Jake Paul.
I understand that, of course, but I don't know. It kind of when it was all being talked about, it was good at the start. Do you know what I mean? It was good at the start, but in the long run, nah. I kind of lost a bit of interest in it. He gave a few excuses, didn't he, Tommy? And and then the excuse was I can't come to America, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but I think that was true. Yeah, but I don't think he could go to America. So that because of all the problems with the Kinahans and that. So that is the truth. Yeah, I mean, none of the Fury family are allowed in America. None of them at all. Or, Peter Fury, John Fury, Tyson Fury, Tommy Fury. I don't know about Roman Fury, but no, they're all banned from America.
Pretty much all of them, innit, really?
Yeah.
I mean, as far as I know, I thought it was a bit strange how they did ban Tommy, though.
I think it's just a blanket ban on the whole Fury family.
Yeah, I agree.
Regardless of what I personally think, but the Americans believe that the Fury family are a bunch of criminals. They really do. And so that's why they banned them. I'm not saying whether that's provable or whatever, but the American government actually believe the Furies are criminals, and that's why they're all banned. It's no truth. You can't deny that fact, can you, Cool Tools?
No, definitely not.
And it's the same. Not only them. I mean, there's other people: Ben Davidson, Matthew Macklin. Darren Till was banned until he cooperated, and then they gave him a visa. So
Yeah, he did well, didn't he? I meant to talk about this before. He did really well, didn't he?
Yeah, with Darren Till, he was banned, and then he agreed to give statements about Daniel Kinahan, and they gave him a
Yeah, but
visa
is that absolutely fact?
without a shadow of a doubt. He was banned, and then he got a visa to go about
That's
6
right.
weeks.
He was banned
6
and he
weeks
got a
ago.
visa, but is that absolute fact?
Yes, well, to be honest with you, I believe it 100% because he got a visa 6
Yeah,
weeks
but
ago.
it's what you believe in fact. Yeah. Do you understand what I mean? It's like,
No, I understand that. Yeah, I mean, it's not, it's not been confirmed in the press or anything, but what other reason could
only
there
reason,
be
isn't
that
there?
they gave him a visa? What other
That's
reason
what I
could there
mean.
be?
There's no confirmation.
Yeah. But what other reason could they?
Yeah, I agree with that. But also, until you get the word, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it's like, yeah, I could, know certain things and fit the pieces together on a couple of right things and this and that. But yeah, until you absolutely get word that is going to happen. Now, I know that type of thing doesn't get really advertised a huge amount anyway, but it's like, yeah, I'd imagine that's correct. But until you get absolute confirmation, it isn't that, is it?
Well, I think the only time that will come will be when there's a court case and you get a list of witnesses, won't it?
Yeah, but like if somebody agrees like that, and it isn't, this thing gets lifted, and then he goes and all the rest of it, and nobody's had it confirmed in any way. I mean, it'd put him hugely at risk, wouldn't it? When that's confirmed, Jesus, that will, that will really be risky. That coming out, for anybody on that list, you
Yeah,
know.
I mean,
And they
they
might not just say, "Oh, he's agreed to give evidence," blah blah blah. It wouldn't come like that, would it? It's like we've lifted the ban on, you know, uh, what's his name, Bloody Lee. We've lifted the ban on him because he's
Darren Till.
yeah, sorry, Till. We've lifted the ban on him because um, he's what words would they use? He's
Cooperated.
nah, I don't know, because whatever they say like that, it's going to put him hugely at risk, and they're going to have to really put the protection on him and all that stuff until people know for definite. Yeah. Now that doesn't always apply with the Kinhens, does it? But anyway, it's like, what could they say? We've lifted his ban because we believe he shouldn't have been on the list in the first place. That's the type of thing they'll say. Yeah? We've lifted the ban on Darren Till because we believe he shouldn't have been on that list and it was a mistake. That's what they'll say. They won't just come out of it and say he's agreed this, he's agreed that, and blah, blah, blah. Because it just puts him hugely at risk. That's why you can't say until you 100% know. And, I imagine that, that is it. But the thing is, I do believe that a lot of people, a lot of organisations, etc., act on very vague, changes in information and this and that. That does happen, doesn't it? But the thing is they don't just come out and say, because that takes him into another realm and makes him highly at risk. And, at the end of the day, they want something from him. So, I can't see him coming out with, saying that he's doing this, he's doing that. But you think there's so many on that list. Didn't it go up, the numbers?
Sorry?
That list, there's so many on it. Didn't it go up in numbers?
Yeah, it started off at 300, went to 600, and now people are saying 1,500.
Jesus Christ.
That's a lot, isn't it?
1,500. It's a lot of people, isn't it?
And they even came out and said most of them are connected to boxing.
Yeah, I do vaguely remember that. But yeah, 1,500, and a lot of them would be regular travellers, wouldn't they?
Yeah, and as what's his name just said there, Doyle. No, Matthew Macklin hasn't lost his job. Not only hasn't he lost it, he was commentating on the Savannah Marshall Clarissa Shields fight. Honestly, and listen, they're all involved. Sky TV, ESPN, all of them to tens of millions of dollars. They're all intertwined with Daniel Kinahan. I'm telling you. And when all this comes out, okay, we'll see just how far that they're all intertwined with Daniel Kinahan. Don't you agree, though, Cool Tools?
Yeah, I think we better just say DK, yeah? But yeah, it's like, you know, it'll all come out. You know, also the real kind of path will be, you know, brushed away, and you'll see it and understand what happened and how things got to, you know, you might not know it all, but you'll get bits and pieces as it goes along. I'm just amazed that they're still out and having fun. Fair play to them. Because at the end of the day, they know it's going to happen. We know it's going to happen. It's like, I'm just surprised they haven't, you know, got away. But they'll be under proper, you know, some of the tightest surveillance there is. I wouldn't be surprised if there's, you know, they'll have security guys checking their clothing, their shoes, their jackets, everything there, you know, cars linked to them, everything. They'll be checking everything because they know they're onto him, and all it needs is a little thing which a satellite can see. Yeah, you know, phones like that. You know, they're gonna leave the phones places if they've got phones still, and all the rest of it. Turn them off and blah blah blah. It doesn't really matter. The thing is they're gonna be under Oppo and probably got markers on the top of their head. So if they ever come out, they shine up like a star, like an orange star, and they can see it from bloody space. You know, you ain't getting away. Now that takes a lot of manpower, a lot of effort, all the rest of it. But if they think the prize is worth it, or there's an end game in place, they'll do that. That's why I believe that, you know, they want to try and get to Europe.
Yeah.
They're messing around. I mean, do you know what it is? I kind of, yeah, I do like the underdog and all the rest of it, and I like an interesting story, but, you know, end up in America or, you know, other places, damn, it's fucking in deep shit, yeah?
He does make a good point, though, Doyle. When, though? What's the wait? I understand, honestly, I've never in history seen an investigation like the Kinahans where it's like a slow motion car crash. Honestly, have you Cool Tools ever? I've never seen anything like this. Have you?
I've seen ones where, you know, they clearly didn't have, you know, an idea where the person was, or they then get an rough idea, but they, you know, it's kind of vague, and you know, that kind of drags things on, doesn't it? But you know, you got like Lord Luke and things like that. But it's like they're a group, and a group is much easier to monitor than one person or whatever.
And they know where they are. That's the crazy
that's
thing.
What I mean, you see, they've got the start, and it's like, you know, well, I just think, the best thing they could have done is get back to Ireland somehow, because they don't want to be going into that American system.
Well, Drew Harris, the MI5 commissioner of the Gardaí, he said that he doesn't think the Kinahans will go to Ireland. Everyone will stand back and let the Americans take them.
Well, that's what they've stated, isn't it?
Yeah, I've never heard that before. When have you ever heard law enforcement saying?
Yeah. Oh, we'll let the Americans take this one.
Yeah, I've never heard of that before ever. When they say we got loads of evidence, we want to try them, but we know we're going to step back and let the Americans do it. I've never heard that in my life. I mean, this is
It is
crazy.
kind of
The whole
funny,
thing.
like, isn't it? You know,
Sorry.
it is kind of funny, isn't it?
Well,
You
that's what
know,
makes me wonder, because you've only got to look at what's happened since all this has started to come out, and all the people around the world that have been arrested, all the amounts of drugs that have been seized, and all this kind of carries on. Johnny Morrissey in Spain, it makes me wonder, but as see, Plastic Paddy, he's got his finger on the pulse from the American perspective. He said
yeah.
the American government waits to your weakest point, and that's when they swoop. And so
Oh, no, that's a fair comment.
they're dismantling the Kinahan cartel's infrastructure, and then when they're ready, they'll go in and
And
pluck them
they're
out.
not in any rush.
Sorry?
You see, countries do that, yeah? You know, countries like you could be in the UK or you could be in Canada or you could be in France or something like that. Countries um, sit back when they know where someone is and they want things to be in a certain way, tickety boo, before they make their move, yeah? As long as they got their eye on them and they know they ain't going far, they don't have to move. The only time they definitely move is if they're prompted, yeah?
Uh-huh.
Maybe try and leave a country. But countries sit back as long as the people are in their country and they going along to their plan. Well, they seem to have all the time in the world. But with America, it's like they do that on a worldwide basis. Yeah, it's almost as if it doesn't matter whether you're in there, that country, Arab Emirates, Dubai, Saudi, Africa. It doesn't matter. When we come and get you, we'll get you. Yeah, we'll know where you are all the time, and it's on our terms. And they'll use a specialist unit. Likely to be DEA, FBI, Delta maybe, a try or a joint operation, and that'll be it. It's like you're in our hand, and wherever you move in our hand, you're like putty. And when we're ready and we've got everything organised and we've got all the paperwork, blah, 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 because often people get technicalities and things aren't ready and paperwork ain't ready to process and this ain't ready, 70 days, 90 days, 110, all that happens, and it's like they've been fouled to that before, but they don't want to be fouled to, so let them be. And then when we're ready, we will come and do the business. And that is it. And I think they should use that time to get back to Europe. You know, but I think either way, they just don't want to go anywhere. And I understand that. I understand that. I mean, they'll be trying to get a place to go, an opportunity constantly, won't they? Speaking to various people, security services, other government, stuff like that. Who knows? But the bottom line is, if something doesn't happen within a reasonable amount of time, then they'd run out of time simply. So I don't know. I mean, if they're trying to get away to somewhere neutral and they manage it, it only takes bribing a couple of officials or somebody in a certain position in an African country or whatever. That's it. And they get wind, and then it's a matter of getting them out, which is probably going to be the hardest bit, I think. But yeah, those sort of countries. I know I had a few bits and pieces with one of them, and it was astonishing what they do. A corrupt kind of government. Jesus, phenomenal. Sure enough, unbelievable what was going on there. And it's like those people, they kind of just have to find the correct person, get them tracked down, and have conversations or get word to them, even if it's through, you know, Stone Age ways, yeah? Because that's how they're going to have to operate. Stone Age ways, you know? Fred Flintstone. Someone coming on a bloody plane or whatever, boat, and they come to have a conversation with someone in a field, middle of nowhere, you know, and hash it out and talk the numbers. We will give you X amount if you do this, or you let these people in, or give these people somewhere to stay, compound and asylum. So, you know, it's they did, mate, I believe. I don't know. I mean, I'm 50-50 on it. Because they've got to get something in position, Doyle. They've got to make sure that will involve paperwork, passports. They need to get asylum in that country, issue with passports. Yeah. The whole thing, they need to be guaranteed, you know, place, asylum. They need to buy a compound or whatever, or a couple of compounds to be fair, you know, because they'd be, you know, they won't want to be at the same place all the time. So probably go out there and buy 4 compounds, you know, and maybe even, it's going to sound a bit bizarre, but they'll be getting renovations done to them because they're expecting to go. Things like that happen. You know, security, you know, laser beams, you know, the whole 9 yards, bulletproof vehicles, bomb-proof vehicles. It goes on and on. Bulletproof glass, you know, get the place looking nice for them. You know, they want a certain style lifestyle. They ain't done all this for nothing. And I believe that they've probably found somewhere. Now it's just getting all organised, and they need them things to be in place, and they also need a second copy of everything that gets held by a neutral person in another country in case anything goes wrong. There's a lot of things that got to be done. You know, it ain't about getting some moody bloody passports. It ain't like that. And then they'll have to split up one at a time. You know, they ain't going in 3. No way. I'd be very surprised. That's stupid. But yeah, they're gonna have to split up. Maybe have a bird with him. Just had a, you know, a lot changed of her appearance, and you know, maybe the girls will go first, or you know, somewhere different, totally different to where the men's going.
Do you know? I think, yeah, I think. I mean, this is only a pure guess, but I think Daniel Kinahan and Christopher Kinahan Jr. will be arrested. But I think Christy Kinahan Sr. is too old to go back to jail, and I think he will flee. And I think, you know, and that's what I think. I think they'll, you know, I called it a meatloaf arrest. Two out of 3 ain't bad, and I think that's what they're going to get in the end. They get 2 of them, and I think Christy Kinahan will flee.
Yeah, I mean, whichever way they deal with it, you know, I do believe, yeah, at that age, you know, you don't want to be doing, you know, you don't want to be learning any more languages in jail. You know what I mean?
Exactly. You know, and if it's going to be a controlled demolition, maybe that'll be part of the deal or something. That Christy Kinahan's allowed to just go off and disappear into the sunset, ride off into the sunset, you know, and have nothing to do with the business anymore, and just retire peacefully somewhere like Bali or somewhere like that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, you'd like to think so. You know that you know they'd have some kind of plan, and it'd be implemented, and he would kind of be a lesser in it. But who knows? I mean, really, I know how I'd kind of have it done, in security wise, all the rest of it. But you know, they've got really good people around them, haven't they? They've got some of the, you know, the really good best around.
Yeah, you see. Yeah, you see, though. Yeah, I mean, I can't imagine it, because I can honestly assure you before I got to the place that they were in, how big they were, I would have retired, took the money and run a lot for, you know, if I'd have got my first 10 million, I'd have run so fast away, and I wouldn't care how much was available. I would get a chunk of money that I
They
thought
may
that's
have
enough.
wanted,
But they, you know, for them, it's their way
yeah,
of
but you
life.
see, other things have happened along the way, hasn't it? It's a lot of things have happened. The other opportunities have sparked up. They've got a huge share and things like that. It's like it's kind of developed. Whether that's been them pushing or people coming to them, who knows? But I do know this: it's something that would be hard to ignore if it was, you know, is going on, and you get the opportunities, you know, to become as huge as that. But yeah, I do believe that they will succumb to a lot of the decisions they've made.
Yeah, I mean, if I'm absolutely honest, I never ever enjoyed being in the criminal world. Okay, for me, it was a means to an end. It was a
Yeah,
means for me to get some money, and as soon as I had what I thought was enough, I ran as far as I could and as fast as I could away from it. I never liked the life, and that's the difference. Some people
yeah,
like the life. I never liked it. I never liked it at all. Didn't like it at
exactly.
all. You know, and so to be honest with you, you know, that's why I would never get in that kind of position, because a long time before, you know, it would be $1 billion a year business, I would have taken the money and run, run as
Yeah,
fast as I could. I mean,
but
you know,
remember, they were, you know, they're kind of on many levels, and that sort of figure ain't actually that much. I mean, you said, oh, they had that each. You know what I mean? It's like, yeah, you'd think that, but once you're in like that, it's like how, you know, they're in too deep, and it's like, you think you can stop it, but maybe you can't. I don't know. I've not ever been there, so, but I do understand that the way things develop at times, and you know, it is what it is, and you kind of get carried along.
yeah, well, as I say, you know what I did, and you know, and I repeat it. In 1989, I had 900 grand in cash, all stuffed away, and I worked it out that that gave me 30 years of £30,000 a year without raising a finger. So I moved down onto the beach and thought, that's it, I'm retired. I was 27, and I chilled out. I then went to university for 8 years. Okay, and you know, that's what I've done. All right, I haven't got the money now, but I've been laid back and sort of like a beach bum for 30 years without
Yeah,
any
you've been able
aggravation.
to chill out a bit in it, and you know, you avoided a lot of stress and effort.
Mm. Spent 8 years at university. Now my contemporaries, some of them, well, not many, but some of them have gone on to be multi millionaires. But when I speak to them, they say they work 60, 70 hours a week. You know,
Well,
they got so much stress and all this carry on. You know, and to be honest with you, it makes me wonder: do I really want that on my brain? So I thought, no, I don't. You know what I mean? I wanted to have a decent, and it meant that I could be like a stay-at-home dad for my boy as well.
yeah, that's really important, and I do believe that you know, those things, your time and that to your child is way more important than chasing money. But once you're in and you've got a business you've got to run and this and that, it's like bloody hell. It's constant. I know someone like that, very close to me,
Yeah,
and
exactly.
he's got everything. He's done great, and I'm really, really happy. But do you know what it is? I don't know. There's that other side to it. I've I've kind of been a bit in the middle. But do you know what I mean? It's like hmm, I wonder whether you know what's best, your time or money. You know, you can have more experiences and bigger experiences, more expensive ones, things like that. But still, you know, there's only so much you can do in 24 hours.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, to be honest with you, I did. That's the way I did it. You know, I set myself a yearly figure of £30,000, which is £600 a week. Don't sound a lot now, but in 1989 it was quite
Oh,
good.
I know that was a lot of money.
£600 a week. And what I did with that is I pretended in my brain that I earned £600 every week, and so I paid my bills, had a drink, and all that carry on. And any excess with that, I'd put away, and so it recycled it. I'd buy, you know, watercolors and things like that, hang them on the wall, and that sort of lasted me. Then I started selling stuff that I had, you know, but you know, it means that you haven't got to drive yourself mad, you know, the stress and all that carry on, and
It's quite hard, you know, running businesses, you know, getting up every day and doing whatever, you know, it's not easy. And you've kind of traded that, haven't you, for a bit of work at the start, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it depends what you want. I mean, for me, it was always quality of life and chilling out and relaxing and
That's right,
having
yeah.
a kind of hedonistic life in that respect, you know, by sort of, you know, spend the summers on the beach and, you know, nice sort of carry on. Spent 8 years at university. I mean, it depends what people want. I mean, that was my, you know, I've done everything that I've wanted to do. And now I then can reflect on that. And all of a sudden I seem to have slipped into this YouTube thing. And, you know, again, you know, like today, later on, I'm going to cook a chicken. Well, if I had £1 million in the bank, the chicken I'm going to cook is not going to taste any different.
It's going to be exactly the same, isn't it? Give me a moment.
Exactly. And the conversation I'm having with you today is going to be exactly the same, whether I've got £1 million in the bank or I've got £10 in the bank. You know, so it's priorities. I mean, at the moment, I would be happy to think that I can pay my bills, my mortgage, which is doubled, my gas, my electric, my phone. Once they're paid, I mean, really, I'm happy. I mean, so I set, you know, my goal is to make sure I can just pay my bills. That's the only thing that I'm really worried about. You know, and I think that's what people tend to lose sight of. And most people are actually going to be, you know, fighting for survival, you know, regardless of social mobility or trying to sort of build up something or get a lot of money or move up the social scale or physical scale with money. Okay, most people are going to be, you know, trying to actually just get through this stuff that we're all facing. And that's really what my main objective is now. You know, hence why, you know, I mean, you know, well, I've monetized my channel because everyone else does when they get to 1,000 subscribers, and anything that comes in literally just goes to help paying the bills. You know, like everyone. I mean, you know, we've all seen all their bills going up. It doesn't matter how much you're earning a year, whether it's 20,000 or 200,000. Everyone's seeing their expenses go up, you know, double, treble. Well, if you're not getting any more money coming in, it's going to eat into your savings. And a lot of people now are actually in the red every month. You know, they may get an income of, say, 3,000 a month or 4,000 a month, and their outgoings are 5,000. So they're behind every single month. I mean, me, each month now, there's hundreds of pounds I'm starting to go into debt, and I'm trying to keep my head above water as much as I possibly can. You know, prioritising every single bill that I got. But I'm sure millions of people are doing the same thing.
There will be.
All of us, you know, I mean, you know, no one likes to admit it, you know, when they haven't got a lot of money. But, you know, I think you just got to be truthful. You know, everyone is now going to start feeling it, and it's to what degree you are feeling it. Everyone's going to see a reduction in their standard of living, regardless of what it is. If you've got 2 cars, you have 3 holidays a year, your children at private school, where you're going to see something that's got to give. So everyone's going to see a reduction in their living standards. You know, so it's going to be all that negativity, and that's why I think things like we're doing here, Cool Tools, is very important. You and I are having a chat. We've got people in the chat, and you know, when people can come away from this thinking, well, I'm not in this on my own. You know, loads of people are, you know, we're all in this together. We're all sort of in the same boat here, but it's just to what degree we are in it, you know.
And that's really what it's about. It's about learning from other people and getting their opinions, helping you make a decision like you want to make.
Yeah, little tips. Yeah, tips on whether it's tips on whether it's cooking or whether it's how you can do this or a little angle if you do that and all that, and things like that are going to become very important going forward. Everybody's on,
Oh,
is trying to get a few bob. I mean, you're not a millionaire, are you, by any standard of imagination?
yeah, because a lot of people, you know, believe their job's always going to be there, or and for some people that's right, but you know, things aren't as rosy and as some people believe. Do you know what I mean? It's not that, and it's been proved over time. There's been many occasions when people have lost their job on a win, and they're all outside the place of work crying, and it's awful to see, but it happens, and some people think that might not happen to them, and there's too much of that in the UK. I know that. This I'm all right, Jack, and it ain't gonna happen to me. Far too much of that.
Yeah.
When people do believe that something's not going to affect them, when really it is. They believe that something like that wouldn't happen to them, or this company's great. And it doesn't take much. Changing the pounds is one of the main ones, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean
That
that's
pound.
yeah, that's an advantage that we might have, but I mean the disadvantage is that with a weak pound, it means energy costs and all that are going to cost more. So you get it in one hand and you lose it in the other. But really and truthfully, I still don't think people realise what is coming towards us. And if there's no help given, it's going to be very, very, very bad, don't you think?
Yeah. I
You
mean, it
know,
seems like we're a bit into doom and gloom, me and you, yeah? But
we're
it's
what?
reality.
Yeah,
It's reality. I've seen a bit of it myself. I've witnessed other times when things went bad. We've all witnessed a bit of it here and there. People of similar age. It's like, why ain't something could happen again? And don't you think we've been prepared a little bit here and there for certain things to happen?
yeah. I mean, if you've got a street knowledge and a kind of street mentality and a kind of instinct, it can help you through these kinds of things. So I can't deny that. Me with my background, maybe you with your background, you can almost see, you can see an angle and you can see a way that you can minimise the collateral damage. Whereas other people, where they just complete straight goers. And honest, straight, hard-working people. I mean, they just get shafted every time, don't they?
Yeah, and it is about, like we said, trying to take back the social mobilisation from before. I know we said it before, but that is really what is a strong thing to some of the the middle and upper classes. They kind of hated that, and it's like the opportunities to use people and to um, you know get people working at a certain rate, or have people on a certain uh, sort of level where they're not going to break through that and cost this man that owns a company XYZ, more. It's going to be, they're going to be stuck in that situation. They have to do the job because they've got to pay rent, or they've got to pay, maybe a small mortgage, and look after kids, which they've had too many because times were good, and until they get past 18 years old, or even 21 really, um, those kids are still going to be really the responsibility of the people who are earning them them wages and that salary. It's not going to go far as well when the pound starts disintegrating anymore.
Yeah.
Bloody crosshatch, for fuck's sake.
What's that?
It's funny, man. Yeah, he's off to Bulgaria first, he's saying. I mean, Croatia, Bulgaria. He's mentioned a few. I don't
Yeah,
know.
you know what? Yeah, I mean, people don't realise that actually I looked at Bulgaria. Bulgaria is an absolutely beautiful country. You know,
It's
you
funny
always,
that.
huh?
Funny that one.
No, really, honestly, I mean, we think of
I
when you
know
say,
our ostrich very well. I know.
you know, and people think of Bulgaria as a sort of communist eastern backward country, but it's an absolutely beautiful country, isn't it, Bulgaria?
Do you know, people are relaxed. You can drive down through a village, through a little town or something like that, and there's a man that in the UK would be working like a bloody, like a slave, and it'll be like 3 o'clock on a Wednesday afternoon, and he'll have his feet up in the front garden with a beer or a few beers, in the ice bag on the floor, and he'll have a beer by his side, and he'll be asleep under the sun and the shade, and he'll be asleep, relaxing, no stress, all the rest of it. His wages will be nothing like the UK, but he's free in his mind. He's got no bullshit. He's got no stress, and he's relaxed. And then that evening, he'll put a few quid, maybe a tenner in his pocket, not much more, and he'll go out and have some food and some beer. Come home, do the whole thing again. Absolutely happy. That's what it's like in them countries. My sister was going to move to Croatia. She went scouting with my mum over there looking. She was going to sell up and go to Croatia. We know someone else who went. I do. He went on the dodge, if you like. He made sure he had plenty, yeah. But he was, he wasn't 100%, legal. He wasn't wanted or anything like that. But he went. He went and he made sure the credit card companies gave him what he thought he was owed. What he thought his wife was paying off silly payments, and they were taking loads of money off him, and you know they weren't even paying the capital off hardly. So he got all the cards, you know, got to a huge credit limit on, I think it's about 8 or 10 cards, and he went spending. And then he leased some stuff, hired some stuff, and he started going back and forth, sending people back and forth, you know, and he got his money's worth. Brand new everything he took, brand new everything. And then he had his place over there that he rented first of all, and then I believe he's bought and all the rest of it. I had a friend talk to him, about a month ago, and he's happy as Larry. And do you know what his wages would be if he did the same job?
Go on.
Equivalent to about 50 quid a day. You know, he ain't gone for the wage increase, I know that. But yeah, about 50 odd quid a day. What he would be earning if he did the same job. Dry lining, plastering, fitting out buildings, building type work. It'd work out about 50 odd quid a day. But everything's dirt cheap, and you work when you want there, and you work to get out of the house. Really, if you've got a bit of money and all the rest of it, it's not. There's not the pressure like there is in the rat race here. But he went with brand new Mercedes Jeep, brand new van, brand new cutter, one of the cutters that cut the trees and all that, because he did a bit of that as well. And he loads and loads of tools that he was renting out as well. A lot of things are done on the handshake as well, and people, they kill each other really. If you fuck someone over there, you got a problem. But if you play by the rules and play the game, you won't be getting much for the tools, rental and stuff like that. But it doesn't matter. It's a little income. You don't need much. Sorry, I'm waffling on. What do you think about did you really research it?
What's that?
Going over to you know, the likes of what was it? Was it Croatia? Was it
Bulgaria.
Bulgaria? Yeah,
You
Bulgaria.
know,
Yeah.
I just no, I watched a program on YouTube about Bulgaria. I just came across it and thought, oh, okay, and it was about 15 minutes long, and it was just it wasn't a promotion video or anything. It just was showing sort of Bulgaria and giving some history. And it just occurred to me, I thought, what a beautiful country. I never thought of Bulgaria in those terms. And I thought, wow, because it's got a long, rich history. Bohemia, Bohemia was where that was Czechoslovakia, but yeah, Bulgaria. I mean, it's got a long, rich history, and it's such a beautiful country. And also, I don't know if you've noticed though, a lot of people with, say, old-fashioned traditional values seem and want to move to Eastern Europe because they seem to retain a lot of the traditional values that used to be held in places like the UK, Ireland, France, Germany, Italy,
Well,
Spain.
I witnessed the reason why a lot of people think that is really why. I witnessed some of it. There was the
Yeah,
wars, ethnic cleansing, things like that. Whether you agree or not, that I mean, it was only yesterday I learned about somebody that had he didn't have any views when I knew of their situation. Didn't really have them sort of views, but now it's like what did they say? It was a pure area or something like that. They said I can't think of what it was exactly. I think it was pure, ethnically pure. That was it.
well, yeah. No, well, I mean, to be honest, where I live in a 1950s style village, very traditional, very retiring, lots of old people. We got a mixed community of different people from different race, creeds, and colours. No one worries about that. Everyone is polite to each other. So I'm in a sort of time warp of a little village. So I see things going on the outside. So I'm happy where I am. However, I would be prepared. I mean, funny enough, I got a brand new passport last month for the first time in about 3, 4 years, and because of my YouTube thing. So yeah, I've got a passport. I could go tomorrow, so that's a good thing as well. If I'm sick of it and it gets too bad, I'll swear to God I will. I'll move to another country. I wouldn't mind doing that. I don't know where I'd want to go. Probably
First
somewhere.
of all, first of all, it sounds a bit really cheap and a bit tacky like, but just to get used to, being away, you know, loads of people go to Benidorm because it's lots of English. There's all the stuff that you'd want to buy, and it's dirt cheap. And pint of beers is 80 euros, or sorry, 80 euros, 80 cent. Yeah, things like that. You can get a beer in a fry up for 2, 3 euros, something like that. It is, and a lot of people go there first of all and try and find the feet, and then they investigate from there. But those other countries, like a crosshatch and Doyle was mentioning, one of them in particular, I think I had some pictures and it was like, oh, the beach was stunning. There were beautiful beaches and people were a certain way and it was all respectful and there was no litter. And it was like, yeah, there's people probably on the fringes or the wrong side of the law and stuff, but they stick to their game with their own people. It's like, and they respect the elderly and things like that. It's very well organised because there is consequences if you cross certain lines. And it sometimes it's not like saying that, but in a way it does help in certain realms of society. And in the UK, you might say, yeah, there's an equilibrium until a fucking problem starts, and then it's there forever. For a long time, and people are moving out of here in droves. You know, all different areas right across the country in Scotland. because of whatever reasons, and a lot of them are going to places like that. And I think, even though I'm very surprised, I think she had a good idea, my little sister. But anyway, it didn't happen because she went to see God instead. Oh God, she didn't believe in God. What am I? Should I have said that, you dick? No, she went to meet her the start of her life after she had a celebration of life. Totally non-religious because believe that's cause of the problems in the world.
Yeah,
But
I mean, I don't know. I mean, things they say things can happen for a reason, and and so maybe the reason I've got a brand new passport might be, there might be some kind of metaphor in that for something, that maybe I might need to use it or something. And another thing, called tools. It's dark blue and it's a British passport. Nothing to do with Europe. It's just British.
yeah,
It's a new one. Now, I mean, I'm not a nationalist in those respects, but it is a British passport, and you've got to acknowledge that, haven't you? I mean,
yeah,
I embrace that thing. I know I am British. I can't help that. I was born in England, so I'm English. Okay, and being proud of that doesn't mean that it's a negative. You can make it a positive. I'm not proud of all the bad things, but you have to, in some respects, and I'm not trying to pump it up or anything like that. I regard myself as being British and all that carry on. Um, I was never a great lover of the European thing. I think it's a good thing for Europeans in many ways, but Britain always seemed. I don't know. Maybe I'm misguided, but I never saw Britain within Europe. I always saw Britain on the outside. Okay, cooperating and all that, but as a separate entity. But maybe that's just my kind of nationalistic psyche. I don't mean to be like that. Don't mean I've got anything against Europeans. I like the
yeah,
French, Germans, all for different reasons.
and that is a step forward in some ways. I mean, the European issues around Brexit and all that stuff. Jesus, I thought it would be getting sorted, but it hadn't been touched since COVID. Really, you didn't hear of it every day. You were hearing about it all day long. You know.
And yeah, and as Doyle says there, he said, "You're the product of South Armagh." Yes, my biological mother came from South Armagh, and at some point in my life, yeah, I could see myself retiring to Ireland, to going back to the Irish soil. I could, but I'd have to have a few quid though. I mean, I wouldn't want to go over there if I was starving. So if I had a nice few quid, I wouldn't mind going over there and staying in Ireland, especially rural Ireland, because there's two
Yeah.
islands, isn't there? There's,
Well,
there,
I was living there for a couple of years, like almost 3 years, and my dad knew the guy who was building the bungalows, and you know we looked at one. My mum had come over for a week. She was happy. I was happy. My other brothers and sisters then came over, and what it was with me, I wanted a load of land at the back to do my own supercross, enduro sort of track, yeah. And there was a shitload of land with the one, and it worked out at about 60,000. And their property in the UK at the time was worth 180,000. There's a huge difference, and it was just before the change in currency. So, and it was all being planned. Our builder from Roscommon, Seamus, if you ever listen, he, oh, it can be arranged, no problem. Blah blah blah. I really think a lot of you, you know, uh, big Marshall, young Marshall, yeah. Anyway, so I thought we was gonna go over there and live, but in the end, it was about opportunities and contract work is why the old man decided not to, because simply he'd exhausted the majority of the opportunities he had in Ireland. So, you know, who knows what was going to come. Yeah, he was, involved with a few different people and this and that, but that was the reason that he didn't do it, and I was so disappointed. Nothing like a beautiful Irish girl as well.
Yeah, and what's that thing? What's that thing? Called tools, or maybe Cross Doyle would know. It's a big long road, and It's called the something ring. Is it the Kerry ring or the Galway
The Ring of
ring?
Kerry.
That's it. Yeah, if you drive the ring of Kerry, it's meant to be really scary, isn't it? Some places it's really high
Well, I
up.
don't know. I don't know. I've been worse. The
Have
Ring
you
of
been on it?
Indigo, and you got all the little features all across Ireland, don't you? But yeah,
Yeah.
the
What?
Ring of Kerry is more of an area, I thought.
Oh, it's not a road. It's not a road that goes all the way round it or something.
Yeah, I don't remember that bit. I remember the Ring of Kerry. I think it's a ring of a certain amount of, like a certain area, but I
Oh,
don't remember it being Scary Road or something
oh,
like that.
okay.
No, I think it was an area, and like we were staying as well at a place on the River Shannon. Beautiful. River Shannon's friggin' huge. It's like at places it's like 70, 80 meters across. And very, very deep, and it's like a proper place you can do a bit of rafting on or canoeing, whatever. Yeah, and then obviously there's all the paths at the side, fishing, proper place.
Yeah,
Um,
and Doyle says there, watch Ryan's Daughter. Do you mean the 1970s film with John Mills and um, John Mills in the 1970s film Ryan's Daughter? Is that what he means, or has there been a remake? I only know the original one, from the
uh,
1970s. Do you know that one? I knew that Ryan's Daughter. Do you remember that?
I don't necessarily remember the film now.
Oh, it was huge in the 70s. It really was a massive film. So, but I don't know whether Doyle means the old one. Whether
But
the
that
old
that had Mills in it, did it?
Sorry?
That had Mills in it.
Yeah, I think he won an Oscar for it. I think Robert Mitchum was in it as well. And
Did it?
Sarah Miles, if I think. Yeah, Trevor Howard, he was the nasty bastard, wasn't he? Trevor Howard was the
I
was
don't
the
know.
English. That's it, Robert Mitchum. And Sarah Miles. She was a controversial woman. And
Right.
John Mills played a man with disabilities. I think that's the best way to describe it, isn't it? John, and he won an Oscar for it. David Lean, yeah, 71. Yeah, that's it, Sir David Lean, yeah. Ryan's Daughter. It was a huge film, Cool Tools, but it was in 1971. I mean, you weren't born, were you? I was only a kid, but I remember seeing it everywhere. That
Right.
older Violent
I've
Prince,
probably
you remember
seen
it?
it, but I don't remember it closely. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Honestly, it won all kinds of Oscars, if I recall. P. Doyle, didn't it? Cute, wonderful film. The scenery was incredible. And then what was that other film that he made? The director, what was his name? John Huston. When he went back to Kerry, John, and they were going in the back of the car when Angelica Houston, when she was a kid, they moved to Ireland, and the film director John Houston made a private film about his family living in Kerry. I think it might have been the 60s, but that was a beautiful film as well. And show
No,
and
I don't remember them. I watched a lot of old films. Like you was on about someone the other night, which was really quite funny. You know, what's it called? Flipping Mr. Grimsdale.
oh, Norman Wisdom. Norman
Yeah,
Wisdom.
God, loved
Well,
him.
that's Rishi. Yeah, that's Rishi Sunak. I mean, with all his money, you'd have thought he'd buy a suit that fits him, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
I mean, he looks
It was
stupid.
a good sort of, you know, allegation of what somebody's like. Yeah.
Well, honestly though, I mean, he looks stupid. He looks like a little schoolboy. I mean, honestly, I mean, and
Yeah.
that stupid tie he wears. Okay, he's all thin and everything. I mean, why don't he dress properly? A proper cut
Kept all,
suit.
all them sort of schoolboy looks as well, hasn't
Yeah, I know it looks wrong.
he doesn't look like a man, does he? And do you think you could, someone like him, you'd imagine it'd be easy to kind of hammer a deal out with him, but the thing is people like that, they turn spitting a dummy out, yeah, when it comes to certain things, because they've had privilege and this and that, they spit the dummy out, don't they? them sort of people. Whereas, you know, some people are hard dealers, and you know they make business deals under a certain way. But yeah, people like that spit their dummy out and you know try and use power in other areas. But no, he's a very strange character, and I'm sure a lot of people are quite happy that he's there.
Well, hang on, the proof of the pudding will be in the eating. On the 17th of November, that's when the Chancellor's going to announce how the government are going to help people. I should tell you on the 18th whether he will be popular or not. I mean, if he does two things, cool tools, it will save the British nation. If he bans eviction and repossessions for 12 months and says he bans anyone getting their energy cut off and says we'll pay the bill later, that I think will help more than anything else.
Yeah. I don't know what he'll do. I'm really not sure.
I don't think they're going to do anything. I think they're just going to squeak. I think they're going to turn the screw. I think they're going to say you're all fucked. You know what I mean? And there's no. Oh, sorry, I don't mean to swear. We're all going to. That's it. You're all in. You're all up the Swanee without a paddle. Okay, and there's nothing we can do about it. Or you know, you've got to sink or swim. You know, and I think that's going to cause a lot of disquiet amongst people because this time. You know, as I said before when we spoke, you know, we remember the late 80s when 50,000 a year were losing their homes. This time it could be 500,000 or 1 million. And I mean, you can't have that, can you?
No, but he's going to want to look better than the previous person, isn't he?
Yeah, he's
got to try and look better, isn't he? More forward thinking, more generous. Yeah.
Well, yeah, and he was when he was Chancellor. I mean, he did the furlough scheme where he gave people all, 2/3 of their wages, right?
That's quite good, really, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, you can't listen. I give credit where it's due, and if he can follow it up, and if he can follow it up and say, listen, we know the British people are in trouble here because their mortgages and that, so we're going to ban. Listen, everyone's going to build up arrears. I know, and then in 12 months we'll have a look, and then maybe tax the. Banks and everything to the same amount so it can wipe off everyone's arrears. I mean, that's what you call progressive thinking. You know, the people need bailing out this time. In 2008, the banks were bailed out. Okay, we'll accept that. Okay, so now we're 2022 and the people need bailing out. They need help. And if this government don't come through with it, well, then, to be honest with you, we'll just have to see what's going to happen.
Yeah, it's going to be... a very interesting sort of few days when he does that because he's got to try and look better than her and he's got to, you know, that's why I must admit I quite like it when they don't show the hand straight away and try and rush something like she did. She was rushing stuff, wasn't she, and then going back on her word. That's the worst thing you can do, really, isn't it?
Well, I mean, as you're entering a recession that can turn into a depression or will do, you don't give a huge tax cut to the wealthiest people, okay, and penalise those in the middle and on the bottom. That is vindictive, nasty, and even right-wingers, even people who are regarded as right-wing people, even they were shocked and went, hang on, you can't do that. I mean, that's so blatant, and that's why it all went wrong. That's what I think. It was vindictive.
Yeah, I believe, you know, he's going to try and look as good as he can. Because at the end of the day, you know, 3 prime ministers in so long.
I know, without an election. I mean, that's what makes it worse, though. Without an election, though, Cool Tools. That's what makes it.
I get that. Are they trying to kid us? You know, it's like, what the hell? But anyway, you know, time will unfold, and time will see. It'd be interesting to see what happens. But listen, I'm going to shut it down soon.
Okay, mate. Yeah, all right. That's all right. Lovely. We've had another 3 hours. We're 3 hours in now. And, okay, well, I might do Saturday.
Right, a second.
Okay.
You know, like 15 minutes or something.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, all right then. Okay.
Yeah, I was left a few questions in the chat and, you know.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest with you, as I say, I'm going to have the rest of the day off, and then I'll do another live tomorrow, unless something important really drops, and then I'll just go live. But if not, I should be on.
I should be far longer than I thought. I didn't get support from some people that I should have got, but they were all done in. A lot of them. They told me that. You know what I mean? I know one went to bed, and he told me that if I'm on in the morning, it might catch me. But do you know what I mean? I knew that. But I still
No,
did.
listen, honestly, but I'll tell you what, today was like the day after the night before. I mean, I've listened.
Definitely.
No, no, listen, I've looked around all the lives and all the people that were on the thing last night where it all went crazy, right? None of them have been online today. None of them.
No. They ain't
Right.
got
So
many of them.
you and I have done quite well to actually be online today. I mean, if you can name them all, and there's Plastic Paddy, Steve, Ronan, Cy, Vix, Tonkin, Eddie, Gannon. All of them. None of them have been online
Yeah,
today.
yeah.
Huh? You know,
No, no. I was feeling it. And it's like I'm kind of come through a bit. Bounce back, do
well,
something.
no, honestly, I'll take you back to the very first thing that I said when you went live today. Was you sound a lot better, which made me happy that you feel a lot better, because I genuinely heard it in your voice that you was in extreme pain last night, and so to hear you like you are
Oh,
today,
it was bad.
back to your usual self, was nice. It was good. It was good news, and I was happy about that.
No,
You
I
know,
respect that. Thank you. And I've had a couple of brandies, and I didn't have any drink last night or anything. I don't have to drink every night. But yeah, I thought I would have had a drink last night, but I didn't. But yeah, a couple of brandies, I'm all right. And I know when I've had a little bit of something, a couple of yogurts, a bit of this, bit of that, bit of fruit, I will put my head down and cover my eyes, and I will have a sleep. And I will sleep. So you can't argue with that, can you? Really?
no, exactly. I mean, I'm going to take the rest of the day off, and then tomorrow's a new day. I mean, who knows what's going to happen? But yeah, I mean, it's like when everyone's at a party and lots of people are sort of recovering the next day. It's sort of like you and I are the first ones to emerge. From that, and people are just catching up, and then we start it all again tomorrow. I mean, the monk trial carries on, doesn't it? You knock yourself off there.
Sorry, yeah. So yeah, it's I've been done all right, really. It's you can hear me, can't you?
Yeah, of course you can. You can
Yeah,
hear me.
yeah, yeah, fine. It's been all right. We've done it quite a long time now. I didn't expect to do this long. Maybe with a bit of help, but obviously you came and helped me anyway. But you know what I mean? I thought, I didn't think you might not be interested in doing anything, but you were there first. You
No,
love
as
it,
soon as
don't
I
you?
saw you go live. No, the good thing is when you went live, I thought, well, it's cool tools. I know I can do things. I've just woken up, and so if I make a cup of tea, if I want to make some porridge or whatever, that's fine. Because some panels you
Yeah,
go on, you can't really sort of do that kind of thing. So it was, I knew it was going to be laid back, and 10 minutes goes into the hours as they go on. But we both taken breaks where we've got something to eat and everything like that. But as I say, I mean, people might be back today, Vix and all those, I think they took the day off to recover.
yeah. And that's really, people do as they wish. You know what I mean? I didn't, I knew it was it's the same as the other morning when I put one on. I knew it was going to be a really slow start, and it is what it is, and it came really good. That was a really good live, I thought. When we had all them people, I had the panel full, and I couldn't put anyone else on the panel because there was people waiting to go on the panel, but because the panel was full, I couldn't put anyone else on, and people were trying to get on, and I've never had that ever.
So what's the maximum you're allowed on a panel then? So I've only ever had two
I'm
people on or three.
six. I'm six, because
Which
I've
means,
got yeah. I'm six, but you're 10. You pay for it, don't you?
yeah, I pay for unlimited streaming, which is
Yeah.
£22 a month. So how many do
You're
I
allowed
get?
10. Yeah. You're allowed 10 people on. I'm allowed six, but I'm only allowed to do 20 hours a month, and I'm probably gonna have to get another plan and start paying for it. If I do any more. So
Yeah,
yeah,
because
yeah, you're allowed 10.
you only get 20 hours a month free, don't you?
Yeah.
Mind you,
Um,
Cross, that's right. Listen, right, just between you and I, okay, right, what we were discussing earlier and the strategy you said you came up with, it certainly proved to have worked.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
I mean,
Great.
you've only got to look at this live stream and look what we've had, especially in the private chat, the lack thereof. It shows that what you said was exactly right.
Well, it's a matter of trial and error, isn't it? All this stuff. I did believe that was going to be a good way of maybe slowing it down.
Yeah. What's happened there then? He's gone. Oh, he's knocked himself off again.
Cut me off again. I don't know what's happening here. Well, anyway, yeah. So it's a matter of sort of people not giving attention to what's going on backstage. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
And that is it. And forget them. And obviously we'll be deleting them anyway. Yours and mine. I'll be deleting. Anything like that. Any bit of dodginess. Trying to be clever. Boom, deleted, gone. And they're just going to be making accounts all day long. Doesn't matter. They're just going to be deleted quickly. So that's what I'm thinking is the I think that's the action. You know what I mean? I'm telling you what, I'm losing my bloody train of thought a bit. That's the action. You know what I mean? That you should be doing.
It's
Making
just tired.
sure.
Yeah, I think his tiredness just setting in a little bit.
It is for me, mate. It is for me. And it's like you've got all them people that, or it's one or two that are just trying to come in and spoil things, especially your channel because it's your channel that's successful, and then they've rubbed over to mine, haven't they? And it's all it is because you're successful. It's tough at the top, and that is it. It's tough at the top, and you'll get them people. And clearly, for what was said last night, jealous. You could hear it. You could hear it. In their voices, jealous. And that is because you have a following and people that are loyal to you, and you can hold over 100 people all night long. That's amazing. I think that's really good. But I ain't got the subscribers for that, and I'm sure you put your stuff out and stuff like that. But I am putting odd things in for joining Top Cashback because it's awesome. Yeah, you get a £10 start as well. I get a kickback. It's awesome. Brilliant site. I'm just shocked at how good it is. I wish I was doing it bloody 2 years ago, but anyway. And finally buy me a copy. If you want to hit the like, do so. And thank you, Mr. Art Hostage.
Yes, you're welcome anytime.
Mr. Doyle.
Yep, and everyone in the chat.
That's my old buddy. I think we're down to a few of us now. But it is what it is. And, I'll see you next time.
Yeah, see you later, everyone.
All right. Bye-bye. Squad, shine out.